What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
8SS. Chapter 115 Xia En chooses Blackbeard to play. Evolve secretly, black hole fruit. Advertise here. No matter how happy everyone on Xia En's side is, it's a low pressure on the spaceship right now. Frieza was expressionless, already unhappy in his heart. Losing 2 games in a row, the focus is still on this small place, losing 2 followers in a row. Frieza didn't attack on the spot because he initiated this group arena match himself. And the legionnaires behind him broke out in cold sweat. Because Frieza began to feel unhappy, his face darkened, and because they never imagined that these people on the other side were so powerful. The opponents in the 10th and 2nd rounds had already reached 20,000 or even 30,000 combat power. This level far exceeds most of the cosmic beings present. But soon, Frieza had someone restore the ring, and looked at Xia En who was facing him again. He began to feel that the guy on the opposite side was not that simple, and he could make people quickly improve and explode to this level of combat power. Perhaps this planet can really give him a huge surprise. So Frieza directly assigned, saying, "Ginyu, you go." Immediately, all the cosmic people showed a look of astonishment, and then smiled. The captain of the Genuit team, the trump card of Frieza's army, has a combat power of 120,000, a truly terrifying combat power. With him on the field, this battle will definitely be able to go down. Yes, King Frieza. Ginyu nodded yes, then slowly landed on the ring, showing a sinister smile at Xia En. Seeing the appearance of the cosmic being covered in lavender and with 2 horns on his head, the faces of Marine and the pirates changed dramatically. This cosmic man has a different feeling from the previous 2. It can be said that in the terrifying atmosphere of the Frieza Legion, his aura occupies the most. In short, this must be one of the strongest among the cosmic people. The opponent has already lost 2 games, this time they must send the strongest guy. Let me play. Garp stood up first and asked Xia En to join him, looking forward to it. I can too. At this time, Sengoku also put down his cloak and stood up decisively. But everyone knows that Xia En will bestow abilities on the stage, so everyone stepped forward to sign up. Master Xia En, we can too. 5 elders, Gellinger, Golden Lion, even Big MBH couldn't hold back. Although the people sent by the other party seemed to be very strong, this kind of opportunity cannot be missed. All of a sudden, people from the 2 camps of the marine pirates spoke out one after another. Xia En looked at Ginyu below, smiled slightly, then turned to look at the crowd and said, "That guy is the second strongest on the opposite side, 4 or 5 times stronger than the previous one." As soon as these words were said, everyone was stunned. I knew it was very strong, but I didn't expect it to be the second most terrifying guy. I believe that with your improved moves, you will definitely be able to defeat the guys below. Garp smiled, looked at Xia En earnestly and said. But Xia En shook her head. Pointing to a guy who didn't stand up, and even flinched, he said, "You go." Everyone looked at Xia En's pointing, and the expressions of everyone in the Whitebeard pirates and the Marines changed in an instant. Xia En was referring to Blackbeard. Master Xia En, shall I go? Blackbeard Teach himself was stunned, he had already hidden himself behind the crowd, how could he still notice himself? Could it be that he wants to go up and deliver the head himself? Thinking of this, Blackbeard Teach turned pale. Xia En smiled without saying a word, and hooked his fingers at him. In desperation, Blackbeard had no choice but to walk over, with his head lowered, his forehead sweating and anxious. Even if he accepted Xia En's suggestion, he still didn't have the confidence to deal with such a terrifying cosmic being. I'll give you a chance to avoid the death penalty, and perform well. Xia En didn't care what Blackbeard Teach thought, she pointed at his body. Immediately activate the bestow ability. Blackbeard immediately froze on the spot, feeling the huge changes in his body and Xia En's moves. In fact, Xia En chose Blackbeard with considerations. Ginyu is very tricky. The combat power of 120,000 is not a joke. Except for IM, even if he accepts his gift, he may not be able to reach 120,000. But Xia En didn't want IM to play. Among the people present, there are only a few special beings worth choosing, Luffy and Blackbeard, the Kid of Destiny. Among them, the existence of Blackbeard is the most special. With his body structure, the fruit ability of 100% fit is very likely to surpass Ginyu. It depends on how one behaves after being given the ability. The result was exactly as Xia En thought. Blackbeard's fruit ability has been greatly evolved. Logia Dark Fruit has evolved into a Logia Star species. Black Hole Fruit. In addition, 100 times Realm King Fist and Wukong technique. The most satisfying thing is that Blackbeard's physique can be increased by 3 times compared to others, so it will not be a problem to fight against Ginyu below. Blackbeard was apprehensive at the beginning, until he felt the explosion of strength, he was overjoyed and laughed crazily. Great, great, such a steady stream of terrifying power. The strength he dreamed of, but he got it so easily. But looking up and seeing Xia En's calm gaze, Blackbeard immediately knelt down and saluted. Lord Xia En, I will definitely win the 3rd match. Confidence is a good thing. If you win this game, you have made a great contribution, but be careful. Xia En said casually, then waved him off. Blackbeard was really inflated now, and he glanced at the crowd proudly. Wukong flew into the air and landed on the opponent's ring. He looked arrogantly at Ginyu on the opposite side. He felt that with his explosively improved strength, even if this purple cosmic being was the second-ranked existence, he could take it down. Thief, ha ha ha, come on, cosmic people. However, with Xia En's last sentence to be careful, Blackbeard still took care of it. Ginyu stared at Blackbeard. He now knew that Blackbeard and the others would drastically increase their combat power, but he still didn't take it to heart, and didn't attack immediately. After grinning, he put on a funny dance pose that he thought was handsome. The audience was silent for a while, and Frieza couldn't help but twitch. But at this moment, Ginyu showed a sinister smile. The figure quickly reached ultimate, and even the afterimage rushed towards Blackbeard in a blur. I'm not comparable to the previous two trash, native. Ginyu didn't take it seriously, but he didn't take the enemy too lightly. The momentum between his shots was like a mountain pressing down on the top, and under the purple skin were hard muscles and explosive power. Just sprinting towards Blackbeard, there is already a deafening sonic boom. Quick. Too fast. Ginyu's speed startled Blackbeard. Not everyone can compare to Whitebeard's control over his own power. Blackbeard is obviously still not familiar with the soaring power in his body. Although he has already reacted, he subconsciously wants to avoid a strong person of this level. Can't help but regret why he didn't open the 100 times Realm King Fist first. In desperation, a strange black glow flashed from Blackbeard's body, turning into a round hole and blocking Ginyu's face. What is this? At first glance, it feels weird, as if the light is being absorbed by this void. The momentary trance did not stop Ginyu, and the single lens combat power detector on his head did not move, so he continued to sprint over to break the black hole with a punch. But what he never expected was that the moment Ginyu's fist hit the black hole, all the power and kinetic energy were strangely absorbed and swallowed by the black hole. Not even Ginyu's arm was included. Obviously it looks like a very small flat black hole, completely like a channel in another space. Feeling the twist on the fist, although it would not hurt Ginyu, he came from the universe after all, and immediately understood what it was, and said in surprise, it's a black hole. Thief, ha ha ha. That's right. Blackbeard manipulated the black hole with one hand open, laughing triumphantly. The black hole is one of the most powerful celestial bodies in the universe. Even Frieza marveled at the power of the black hole, and everyone was surprised to see that Blackbeard could have such a superpower. People on this planet can even master the superpower of black holes. This can't help but make Frieza even more interested, staring at Blackbeard closely with sharp eyes. In the camp of marine pirates, it was also surprising to see Blackbeard who had evolved the same ability as Kaido. With this ability, maybe there is a great chance of defeating the second strongest guy in the universe. After all, having 10 strong abilities is completely different to the improvement of combat power. However, when both sides reacted, Ginyu showed a look of disdain. This black hole power, you want to deal with me? A powerful force erupted and slammed into the black hole. In an instant, the black hole fluctuated violently, distorted like the ripples on the water surface, and immediately collapsed inward, disappearing without a trace. 0. Seeking flowers 0. This turned out to be directly blown up by Ginyu. Don't worry, bastard. This is just the beginning. Hundredfold Realm King Fist. Open. Blackbeard didn't panic in the slightest. With this interval of time, he resolutely activated the 100 times Realm King Fist to shorten the fighting power between the two. The flames with black aura soared into the sky, making the space unbearably distorted. After Blackbeard broke out with Kaiwang Fist, it was even more terrifying than when Whitebeard and Kaido used it. Even Kid couldn't help backing away after seeing it, and was surprised to see the number on the combat power detector soar to 110,000. As the detector broken, why is it so high? Not to mention on this small planet, even in the universe, there are extremely rare existences with a combat power of 100,000. He is the only one in the entire Frieza Legion except for the king. Immediately, Ginyu became extremely dignified. He couldn't be like Sabo and Dodoria and capsized in the gutter. Everyone present was shocked by Blackbeard's aura, because it was too powerful, terrifyingly strong. Seeing this scene, Xia En nodded in satisfaction. Blackbeard is a smart person. Knowing the difficulty of the opponent, he decisively used all the moves to improve his combat power. Being able to reach this level is not only due to a special physique, the 100 times Realm King Fist plus the blessing of the Black Hole Fruit and the Momo Fruit. This allowed Blackbeard to break through more than 100,000. Thief, ha ha ha. Do you feel it? The battle has just begun. 0. Blackbeard still had that arrogant smile. He felt that his ability was really too strong, but this kind of strength could only be achieved with one click of Xia En, so how strong would it be? Thinking of this, Blackbeard couldn't help restraining himself a little, wanting to win this battle seriously, not daring to slack off Xia En's instructions. But Ginyu is not a soft persimmon. Once the aura around him explodes, his aura is not inferior to Blackbeard, and even surpasses the first line. Between the two, the imposing confrontation has already caused the world to tremble, and everyone was shocked. Next moment, Ginyu moved. The powerful energy is released, so that the flying impact is coated with a layer of aerosolization effect. If you want to get close to Blackbeard directly, you know how to get close to it. However, Blackbeard knows his own shortcomings, he is not as good at close quarters as Whitebeard and Kaido, and he also has the blessing of Ultra Instinct. Resolutely spread the 10 fingers, the ability is activated. A strange phenomenon appeared on his body, it seemed to absorb all the surrounding light, which looked very strange. Ginyu also shrank his pupils, sensing the danger ahead, made a decisive turn and rushed to the sky, watching Blackbeard vigilantly. As expected, just when he turned around, an even bigger black hole opened up around Blackbeard. It has a diameter of more than 10 meters, and he himself is in it, as if he has turned into a black hole. If Ginyu didn't pay attention, he would probably rush into the boundary of the black hole, lose sight, get lost, and be imprisoned. At that time, no amount of power could be exerted. Ginyu showed a sinister smile, even if he couldn't get close, he still had many ways to attack. The air is constantly collapsing towards one point. This level of power is no better than the small black hole before, but it was blessed by the king of the world fist and the Momo fruit. And Ginyu himself was affected by this ability, trying to break it out. If you stop me from getting close, do you think you can sit back and relax? Immediately, the space where Ginyu was located was instantly distorted. Thief, ha ha ha. It's just like Master Xia En's move, now, you can also feel my attack. It is very powerful, but it still can't break its own black hole fruit. Blackbeard sneered triumphantly, and immediately pointed his palm at Ginyu. At first glance, it was really similar to Xia En's moves, and Blackbeard was startled. But in the end, he punched out, and what came out was a black spot, and it was still increasing in strength. Turn into a streamer and hit Blackbeard directly. I have to say that Blackbeard is still very good at thinking of this way to avoid melee combat. Because he is also a superpower himself, and has powerful energy. But when the light beam approached the black hole, it began to be distorted, and then it was directly distorted into a spiral shape and was swallowed by the black hole. Only then did Blackbeard realize that this was not Xia En's finger pistol. After finishing speaking, Ginyu raised his arm, the rays of light converged, and a fingertip light wave burst out like Xia En's light-killing cannon. Finger Pistol. Chapter 116 Ginyu, Black Hole Fruit. It's mine now. Advertise here. What this punch exploded was the collapsing force field formed by the power of the black hole. The ability to manipulate black holes. This is too pervert. Ginyu gritted his teeth, and hurriedly flew back to avoid it, but in fact, he coveted this ability in his heart. How can a cosmic being not be moved by such an ability? It's just that facing Blackbeard's attack now, he also feels very uncomfortable. Although the black hole ability can't kill him, once trapped by it, it is difficult to guarantee that he will not be defeated in the face of an opponent with the same fighting power of hundreds of thousands. Once lost, how to explain to King Frieza? Similarly, on Blackbeard's side, seeing that Ginyu is very afraid of the black hole's ability, even punching and bombarding 1 second, and decisively dodging the next second gave him full confidence. Before, just feeling the aura made me tremble, but now. Cosmic people aren't that scary. 337. Blackbeard smiled brightly, his 5 fingers seemed to grasp the lifeblood of space. During the backhand, several black hole singularities appeared beside Ginyu. Ginyu, who didn't dare to challenge him, naturally moved back and forth in the air to avoid, and raised his hand to bombard Blackbeard with several Qigong waves. The air bomb of lavender chi fell, directly blowing up the ring around Blackbeard, with great power. But Blackbeard, who was hiding in the black hole, was not affected. Instead, he manipulated the black hole singularity to appear one after another, blocking Ginyu. This kind of battle seems a bit normal between them, each trying to find a way to lock each other. Those who watched the battle seemed to be in a state of palpitation. The power of Ginyu's Qigong wave is very terrifying, and even set off a violent storm. Not to mention other powers. Even Blackbeard's current methods are extremely shocking. From the eyes of the people watching the live broadcast and the marine pirates at the scene, it is a black hole all over the sky, which is extremely terrifying. That black hole, which can swallow even light, has a huge gravitational force, and the surrounding area is much dimmed by the naked eye. Even the cosmic beings in Frieza's army watched with trembling hearts, and only Xia En and Frieza were able to watch the battle calmly. It has to be said that Ginyu has a certain level, even if Blackbeard frequently creates black holes, he can dodge back and forth in the gaps, and the gravity will not affect him. But such a battle really annoyed Ginyu. At this time, he is trying to attack Blackbeard inside the black hole. The explosive gas forms a super high-speed flight, a circle of gas flames soars, and dives down. As long as the power is strong enough, your pseudo-black hole will not be able to withstand it. Ginyu's fighting spirit is correct. Falling like a meteor, majestic power confronts Blackbeard. A black hole can't handle it. Blackbeard's eyes narrowed, and he retreated decisively to the depths of the black hole. Next second, Ginyu fell, and the entire ring exploded. The impact of terrifying power shattered all the stones, and the impact that rippled out even hit the bottom of the sea. But Blackbeard's black hole was indeed absorbing and devouring all the kinetic energy at the beginning, which could distort everything, and the black hole attracted by its gravity was directly overloaded, and its form flowed back to the singularity, and then disappeared. That's right, if you want to break the ability of the black hole fruit, you just need to blow it up with more force than it can bear. Ginyu seemed a little excited and grinned, it seemed that the bluffing black hole was nothing special. But the next moment, the smile froze, because he realized that he didn't hit the Blackbeard teach in the black hole. Looking back on the shattered arena, only to find that Blackbeard actually came out of a black hole in the sky. Thief, ha ha ha, are you confused? Tell you, this is the strongest fruit ability. Ginyu has no idea what the fruit ability is. But Blackbeard's methods took him by surprise. Hateful. The backhand is continuous qigong waves blasting past. For a moment, the light from the sun made the surroundings brighter. Black hole, devour stars. Blackbeard didn't rush, and closed his outstretched hands in preparation. In an instant, the black holes originally created to block Ginyu's actions all merged into Blackbeard's body before the qigong wave arrived. An even bigger black hole was formed. More than 100 meters in diameter. The power it brings is far more than doubled. All of Ginyu's qigong waves disappeared into it and there was no movement, which surprised him. Even more sharply, Ginyu found that his body was also attracted by the 100-meter black hole in the sky. The broken arena, those stone powders, etc. all flew up, being absorbed by the black hole's gravity, and even the seawater gradually surged up, heading towards the center of the black hole. It looks like a super large waterspout. On Frieza's side, the gravitational force acts on the suspended spaceship and everyone in the Legion. It wasn't until a group of cosmic people with superpowers and Yangqi jointly controlled it that the lineup was not attracted. On Xia En's side, Yim acted in surprise and cut off the gravitational force of the black hole. What a terrifying ability. That cosmic man is so strong, he was played by Blackbeard in the palm of his hand. No wonder Lord Xia En chooses him to fight, his strength has been improved, and the fruit of darkness has become a fruit of black hole, it's absolutely amazing. Marine and the pirates were shocked and amazed. Xia En listened to everyone's emotions, but shook her head secretly. It's not certain who is playing with whom. Ginyu is not only a super powerful fighter, but also a superhuman himself. So such a battle situation should not be. But when Ginyu couldn't break free from the gravitational force and the distance was getting closer, suddenly, he smiled. The range of 100 meters has increased to 300 meters in a short period of time, and it will continue. The gravity of its singularity has locked Ginyu firmly. Blackbeard also wondered what he meant by that attitude. And Ginyu's smile is very sinister. Blackbeard, whose nature is hard to change, is laughing arrogantly, and the gesture of opening his hands is very arrogant. Such a strong body, of course it is for me. It's really a powerful ability. With that Kaiwang fist and the super power of the black hole, I think your current combat power exceeds 120,000. Cosmic people, that's it. Today's third match in the group arena, we are the winners. Maintaining such a posture, while continuously bursting out abilities, the black hole becomes bigger and bigger. This blow will fuse the power of the black hole and completely defeat him. Think of the black hole behind me exploding directly on him. Thief, ha ha ha. Change body. At this time, Ginyu found that he didn't need to control himself, and was directly pulled by gravity and flew towards Blackbeard. And Blackbeard, when the black hole rose to 500 meters, grinned grinningly and swung a 3.7 punch. With a sinister smile, Ginyu directly took off the unmoving combat power detector and shattered it. Teach wanted to end the battle directly. Blackbeard, who couldn't stop laughing in his heart, had a fierce gleam in his eyes. Immediately, he assumed a posture that seemed to give up resistance. At this time, Chapter 117 Xia En's recovery ability, Ginyu is confused. Advertise here. Ginyu's super power is activated. And the black hole with strong gravitational force in the field also changed, and the gravitational force suddenly stopped. Blackbeard's Teach's laughter also stopped abruptly. Ginyu's super power was almost completed in one breath. Change body. Blackbeard Teach feels very strange. I seem to be in a trance just now. Then, my body seemed to become stronger. Looking up, there is a huge black hole in the sky, and a fat man with his hands open. No, how do I see myself? Blackbeard was dumbfounded. Ha 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 ha, I got it. Your body. Sure enough, this ability is really powerful. Turn yourself into a black hole and manipulate the black hole. I saw the fat man laughing loudly, very proud of himself. But Teach suddenly reacted in his heart, and found that his palm was purple, and he was wearing the armor of a cosmic being. No, impossible. My body was changed by UO6. Scalp tingling. Teach was startled when he realized it all of a sudden. He was actually changed by Ginyu, his own strength became his, and his physical strength became his own. That's right, that's what you think, wouldn't it be too wasteful for such a good ability to be in your hands? Look, how powerful is this move? Mrs. Wife is awesome. After mastering the black hole fruit ability and Kaiwankwan, Ginyu realized how high the upper limit is, and laughed wildly in surprise. As soon as I hold my hand, the black hole behind me reacts immediately, and the huge and terrifying gravitational force turns again, and I will be pulled by the transformed Blackbeard. No, 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 how could this be? My body. Blackbeard really panicked now. Even Ginyu's body also has huge energy, let alone he can't use it now. Even if he can use it, he can't resist the black hole fruit ability of various increases. Now he felt the aggressiveness of Ginyu's fight just now. The strange energy in the body burst out, and I wanted to get rid of it, but there was still no effect. Trying to release the attack would also be swallowed by the gravity of the black hole. The battle gap is not big, but it is completely crushed. Ha 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 ha. Feel it. Your ability is really powerful. Ginyu is really excited now. Mastering this celestial ability is more than twice as powerful as before. The spaceship above is located. That's right. Take away the opponent's abilities, including the body, and then crush them back. Seeing the change in the battle situation, Frieza couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth, very satisfied. This is also the reason why the Genuit team has always been deeply trusted by him. Of course, many people in the Frieza Legion are still not clear about Ginyu's superpower at the bottom of the box, and they can see it now depending on the situation. This is Ginyu exchanging bodies with his opponent and seizing the opponent's ability. Suddenly, a large group of people were very surprised, and then became excited. But the most astonished, or frightened, were the marine pirates behind Xia En. Xia En had already expected Ginyu's tricks, but the others didn't know. No, Blackbeard's body has been swapped. Cosmic people actually have this ability. This is too bad. The black hole fruit ability has also been taken away. Blackbeard will lose. Master Xia En, if you lose in the third round, there will be more variables. Everyone looked anxiously, and no one thought that there would be such a reversal in the battle situation. It was clear that Blackbeard was about to win, but in the next second, the person who performed the ultimate move became an opponent. The person on his side became the bearer. What's more, this group arena match is 5 rounds and 3 wins. Being won by a cosmic person is a huge pressure for people in this world. Although it is possible to compete with the opponent's high-end combat power now, the number of cosmic people and the king have not made a move. Who can guarantee that they will win in a head-on confrontation? After all, it is related to the life and death of the whole world. But now the situation is very critical. In Ginyu's original body, Blackbeard quickly adapted to his strength, but after being restrained by the black hole, he could only watch himself approaching the black hole. Ginyu there has continued Blackbeard's original move, converging the kinetic energy transformed by the black hole on his fist. Just wait for Blackbeard to be absorbed and punch away. Asshole. This is your body. Blackbeard panicked, babbling nonsense out of desperation, praying in his heart that he was in the other person's original body, so he shouldn't die. Unexpectedly, this caused even more ruthless ridicule from Ginyu. I have changed countless bodies over the years. As long as it is strong enough, what is a body? And if I smash the body, you will die too. Ha 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 ha. Ginyu grinned grimly, becoming more and more satisfied with the black hole's ability and the improved strength of the 100 times Realm King Fist. With this kind of means, the combat power has soared in a straight line, much stronger than before. The people behind Xia En were sweating profusely, all of them were horrified, seeing that Blackbeard was about to be sucked by Ginyu and crushed to death with a punch. At this time, Feng En raised the whole body. Take it back. He spit out 2 words lightly. In an instant, the 3 abilities on Blackbeard's body disappeared instantly. So he shot decisively, without even needing to explode any momentum, he punched directly towards his body. As long as I kill the cosmic man, my body still has a chance to get back. Where are the abilities in your body? Why are they all gone? It's still the heart. Such a shocking change stunned Frieza and his subordinates. Ginyu, who was full of momentum a moment ago, suddenly became a weak chicken. But now, Blackbeard is too close to him. All the powers are gone. The 100-meter black hole that originally stood horizontally in the air and shocked everyone immediately dissipated invisible. Ginyu's reaction was quick, and Blackbeard was a little confused. Why all the restraints were gone, he had already started to swing his posture, wanting to change his body back. He still has his own way, so he shot very decisively. One has recovered to hundreds of fighting strength, while the other has maintained his body's fighting strength of 120,000. Good chance. The 100 times Realm King Fist, Wukong technique, and the ability to evolve into the fruit of the black hole have all been withdrawn. This is so sudden. Ginyu was stunned, the strength that had excited him was gone, and he immediately yelled like crazy, what's going on? The blessing of the 100 times Realm King Fist was gone. Ginyu stared at Blackbeard's body, his aura continued to drop. It can be said that it had increased to more than 9.8 million fighting power, and fell precipitously to hundreds in an instant. It must be a fraud. His body is weird. Blackbeard also suddenly realized what he thought of. The opportunity to defeat the cosmic man must not be missed. Chapter 118 Frieza is going to do it himself. Advertise here. Even if Ginyu wanted to avoid it, he was powerless. This body with lost strength, against his own body with 120,000 combat strength. Even a giant elephant is not so easy to fight against an ant. Puff. Blackbeard used Ginyu's body to penetrate the heart of his own body. Blood gushed out continuously, and severe pain occupied Ginyu's body and mind. All of this, from Xia En's withdrawal of the bestowed ability to the present, actually happened in just a few seconds. The audience fell into a complete silence. Ginyu watched in disbelief as the purple-skinned arm pierced his body. At this moment, let alone restarting the body-changing ability, he couldn't even speak. The blood kept gushing up from his throat and he couldn't make an accurate sound. Your strength is really strong. Blackbeard turned the tide of the battle, and immediately said to Ginyu proudly. The body of a human being in the universe is more than 100 times stronger than his own body alone. Fortunately, I still won. Now, Not only the vitality of the original body is rapidly disappearing, Ginyu also begins to lose focus, and his body collapses. In the end, there was only one weak corpse that fell down, and was immediately grabbed by Blackbeard, and flew towards Xia En. He has to keep his original body fresh, and then find a way to change it back. After all, he knew that his special body could still be used. It's just the Ginyu inside, who can't die anymore. Marine and the pirates witnessed this reversal, and cheers broke out from the silence. Win. We won. 3. We won all 3. Great. Cosmic people, you lost. Hurry up and get out of our world. Wish. You have already lost. Everyone was really excited, because this not only won the bet and kept the world, but also severely defeated these cosmic beings from the starry sky. This is the first time in history, a milestone battle, and this ring battle in the future world will be celebrated for 10,000 years. And Xia En nodded lightly. The system prompt also sounded again. Ding, beat the third round of the group arena, and get an all-round improvement 5000% bonus. In an instant, the mysterious energy boosted Xia En's strength again. After 3 games, he has already obtained 15,000% rewards, which is more than directly defeating Frieza's army. Xia En couldn't help grinning, feeling happy in her heart. But some people are happy and some are sad. Everyone on Frieza's side looked ugly, especially Frieza couldn't sit still this time, and stood up from the suspension chair. Those eyes were unabashedly fierce, fixed on Xia En's side. Damn. 2 attendants died in a row, as well as the trusted Ginyu. Frieza's heart was already burning with anger, but at this time he didn't directly lose his composure and make a shot. All the cosmic beings in the legion behind were already silent, as if they were in an ice cellar, frightened by Frieza's faint majesty. Anyone who is not stupid can understand that the more calm King Frieza looks, the more angry he is now, and no one dares to touch him. Even the remaining 4 members of the Genuit team did not dare to see their captain die, and even the closest to Frieza felt a little trembling after feeling the breath. Frieza stared at Xia En's side, and slowly flew to the top of the shattered ring. Just looking at it like this, without saying a word, a huge pressure suddenly enveloped everyone's hearts. The scene that was still cheering became quiet because of this. Feeling the eyes of the opponent's king after he left the stage, he couldn't help but swallowed his throat, and started to panic involuntarily in his heart. This feeling is really indescribable. It's really a good method, which can quickly improve the combat effectiveness of the people under him, and can take it back. Frieza looked at Xia En coldly, and opened his mouth to tell the real reason for Ginyu's loss. Hearing this, Xia En flew out with a smile on his face, and said directly to Frieza, "At this time, we don't mention the results of the group arena, but specifically use these. Frieza, do you want to say that this method violates the rules? You have used this method to interfere with the result of the third game, but this king doesn't care too much." Frieza licked his lips, and then continued, "Because whether it's a group arena match or destroying this planet right now, it all depends on my mood. But you are making me very unhappy now. This is a villain, and he does what he wants. It really is your style, Frieza." Xia En was not surprised by Frieza's words, and even wanted to laugh. His purpose has never been to win the group arena to prevent him from destroying the planet, but to win the group arena to get system rewards. So after finishing this ring, and under the circumstances that made Frieza very unhappy, he will definitely fight head-on. You seem to know me well. Frieza's eyes narrowed slightly, and then he continued, "You are just a useless planet here, but you are indeed a talent, and now I will give you a choice. Either join me and become my follower, or annihilate with this planet in this universe." It can give others the ability to improve, and Xia En itself is very imposing, so Frieza still wants to fight for it. They can also be regarded as the 3 right-hand assistants who made up for today's loss. No, Frieza's army is nothing more than that. Xia En shook his head. Naturally it was impossible to join. After saying the words of refusal, Frieza raised his hand back in a blink of an eye. "Since you must be my enemy, then all the people on this planet, let's kill them all." Frieza, this is to make all the subordinates behind him shoot. Kill all the people first, and then destroy Nuali's planet. Then, this third game is up to us to play it all over again. At 2h at plus. Let your people kill the people on this planet, and at the same time have a ring battle with Xia En. The anger in Frieza's heart shows that it has not gone down, and Xia En's refusal has completely inspired the brutal side. Marine and everyone on the pirate side were taken aback by Frieza's words, and saw the aliens on the spaceship start flying in all directions. If people like them are really going to be massacred, who else in the world has the strength to stop them? Whitebeard, Kaido, and Blackbeard, who still retain their strength, can't help but stand up, but seeing so many people scattered, they can't stop them. However, Xia En was not in a hurry, and moved her neck and arms. "That's right, I still have to solve you after playing around, then let's start. My 10,000% reward. Chapter 119 Xia En vs Frieza. Advertise here. Look, it's Master Xia En who is on stage. Great, is that dwarf the king of the cosmic people? It looks like he wants to go back on his word. Damn it, our fighter has already won 3 games. According to the rules he set, he should leave our world. Don't worry, Master Xia En will definitely solve it. No cosmic man or cosmic emperor wants to destroy our world. Marine's live broadcast is still going on, and now almost people all over the world will watch the live broadcast. Because everyone has already understood that this group arena is about the life and death of the world, but how can ordinary people think that Frieza never thought of letting go of this worthless little planet, let alone letting Xia En and his group people on site? Interesting, what a pity. Frieza tilted his head, admiring Xia En. Ordinary righteous people would be angry and anxious because of his order to slaughter, but Xia En didn't care about it, and his heart was very good. But if you can't become a competent subordinate, then you will be destroyed. But at this moment, white flames soaring into the sky erupted from Xia En's body. 50 times World King Fist. The bursting of muscles made Xia En's body even stronger, and the aura rippling out round and round made everyone feel terrified. Compared with Whitebeard, Kaido, and Blackbeard who use the 393 Realm King Fist, Xia En's power surpasses them by countless times. In an instant, it arouses the vision of heaven and earth, thousands of miles of low clouds and thunder. The scattered cosmic talents didn't fly very far, and the single-chip combat effectiveness detector was beeping. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Until it breaks through 1,000,000, it will continue to soar. Until the combat power detector explodes due to overload. As the detector broken, how is it possible? They all have a combat power of over 1,000,000. Immediately, everyone in Frieza's army was deeply shocked, looking at the direction of Xia En's explosion. Their eyes trembled, and they froze in place. I forgot what I was going to do for 10 minutes. Frieza frowned slightly. He also felt the threat from Xia En, but he still had the certainty of victory. Not bad strength. I have never met anyone in the universe who can reach your strength. He praised it sincerely. It can be said that no one among the Saiyans can reach such a level, and only his father can exceed this value. And from the perspective of perception, Yuan En's combat power is still working. I'm afraid it won't be a problem to break through tens of millions of combat power. For a while, Frieza couldn't bear to kill Xia En. AGBG, it would be great if he could subdue and join him. Seeing Frieza's appreciative expression, Xia En suddenly grinned. A faint blue light flashed in the eyes. Soul coercion launched. Covering half of the pirate world, precisely targeting everyone in the Frieza Legion, the pressure suddenly descended. If the black hole fruit ability is a phenomenon that causes gravity to distort an area, then at this moment, the sky over the entire sea has a doomsday scene. In the sky, the earth and the sky, this shocking gravitational distortion occurs in the vision of all creatures. It's all because Xia En's soul coercion covering half the world is coming. Ah 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 ah. The screams of the cosmic beings came, and the soul pressure that affected the reality fell on each cosmic being, immediately severely wounding their souls, and even their bodies were also severely injured. Among them, the weaker cosmic beings were directly distorted with their souls, suppressed and shattered without Xia En holding back. From the outside world, it seems as if he has suffered an invisible blow out of thin air, bleeding from all 7 orifices, falling down with white eyes, either losing his breath and dying, or being directly injured and fainting. They, dead. Master Xia En's soul coercion. In the vision of marines and pirates, what they see is the aliens falling like dumplings. Feeling this kind of terrifying power, even my own people would feel chills and chills on the back. It is so powerful that it is terrifying. Even the soaring strength of Whitebeard, Blackbeard, and Kaido felt the breath of Xia En's soul coercion, and they couldn't help swallowing their throats and sweating on their foreheads. They feel that they are just a drop in the ocean. The improvement in strength is not as good as Xia En's eyes. It is really looking up at the gods in the sky. Among them, the one with the most complete and clear feeling is mainly aimed at Frieza himself. The soul seemed to be pressed down by an indescribable weight, making Frieza tremble uncontrollably, and the pressure was getting bigger and bigger. What kind of move is this? Coercion. As the Emperor of the universe, he had never seen this kind of move, and it was deeply affected by the soul, so he couldn't help being very surprised. The means of this small planet in front of him are far beyond imagination. Thinking of what kind of existence he was, and being influenced by Xia En, Frieza suddenly burst into anger, gritted his teeth and carried the pressure of the soul, and raised his finger. Use the death beam. He is to interrupt the coercion of Xia En's release. The red death beam is extremely penetrating. Even if Frieza has not yet transformed and turned on segmented transformation, the power of its attack cannot be underestimated. Seeing this, Xia En raised her hand, and it was also the magic gun light killing cannon. The shape-changing magic light cannon is almost exactly the same as the death beam, and it bombarded the opponent. When the two beams meet, a violent light reaction occurs immediately after the collision, and the blasted light is a bit dazzling. But everyone like 5 elders, IM and marine pirates can still see clearly. Xia En's beam smashed Frieza's red beam without any accident, and continued to shoot towards the opponent. Master Xia En's finger pistol is really strong. Everyone thought it would be a hard fight, but unexpectedly, Xia En seemed to be worthy of the opposite universe emperor from the first move. Frieza himself was even more surprised. He dodged subconsciously to avoid the passing magic cannon, and watched it fall into the sea below and produce an energy explosion. Your energy. Frieza's eyes changed slightly, and he found that Xia En's chi, that is, energy, was more than 1 level higher than his normal state. You have to know how it is possible for someone on such a small planet to reach this level. Their civilization is even difficult to reach the sky. However, Xia En's calm appearance really annoyed the proud Frieza. There is a feeling of letting him face his old father's teachings. Hateful. Frieza's gaze became even more gloomy. Immediately, the fuchsia beams are fired continuously from the fingers in rapid succession. Multiple death rays. Afterimages appear on the arm quickly, beams of light, such a strong explosion. People's vision is occupied by these rays of light, it is extremely terrifying. Every blow makes everyone in Pirate World feel frightened and feel numb. Chapter 120 Frieza, why can't this barrier be broken? Advertise here. The level of the battle between Xia En and Frieza is far beyond everyone's imagination. With Blackbeard's black hole fruit and Whitebeard's enhanced version of shock fruit first, five elders and others thought that the ferocity of the battle should be so terrifying. But now, the sky was full of light beams, and the violent explosion even dazzled everyone's eyes. Its magnitude was far beyond what the previous battles could match. Especially without Xia En standing in front to block the aftermath, everyone realized how scary it was. The people standing on the battleship controlled by the Golden Lion couldn't lift their heads at the moment, and Whitebeard even resorted to Susanoo to block and protect. The illusory giant with powerful defenses protected the battleship and everyone inside, but it still couldn't stop the aftermath of Xia En's battle with Frieza. It's too scary. This kind of battle, the previous 3 battles are like playing house. Blackbeard, who had changed his body, was prostrate on the deck at this moment, trembling all over with his head in his hands. The light beams of each attack from both sides can kill themselves, not to mention so many, the entire sky is occupied by amazing energy bombardment. If those cosmic beings hadn't been stunned to death by the coercion, I'm afraid they would all be terrified at this moment. And in the live broadcast, with the bursts of explosions, nothing can be seen, only a vast expanse of white light remains. Countless people don't know how the battle is going at the moment, but knowing Xia En's appearance is praying sincerely, hoping that this terrible battle will end soon. As everyone knows, their worries are completely superfluous. Frieza is indeed terrifying, but Xia En is completely in an oppressive position at this time. The overwhelming purple-red death beams continued one after another, and Frieza even yelled, "Death!" But with each blow, Xia En used the magic light cannon to defeat it, and the effect that all the clouds in the Kong Vice Admiral exploded was the result of the energy explosion of the magic light cannon. The surface of the sea is constantly turbulent, without the slightest regular ups and downs. Together with the bottom of the sea, the surrounding islands farther away have entered the earthquake range. After a while, Frieza stopped the bombardment of multiple death beams, and couldn't help frowning after a closer look. I saw that Xia En's face wasn't red and she wasn't out of breath, and her body didn't feel weak at all. This guy, is he as angry as me? Frieza himself didn't do anything with all his strength, so he couldn't feel such consumption. But Xia En on the opposite side raised his combat power so easily that he had to be cautious. Could it be that people on this planet will also transform? Xia En looked at his frown, but said, "Don't you use your real power." Frieza. As the saying goes, opponents are hard to find, compared to the rewards of the system. Xia En also wants to have a hearty battle at this time. The Frieza in front of him is stronger than Poros, so there is no reason not to have a good fight. It's just that the Emperor of the Universe is still probing step by step. HMPH, interesting, then as you wish. Frieza sneered. Immediately shouted loudly, purple gaseous flames erupted around, soaring into the sky. The terrifying pressure spread all over the area, and the powerful aura made everyone watching the battle change their expressions drastically. The King of the Cosmos didn't use all his strength just now. The guy who claims to be the Emperor of the Universe must have more than this level of strength. Mew has to retreat a little. Took a deep breath, looked at Whitebeard, gritted his teeth and insisted on Susanoo, and quickly asked Golden Lion to control the battleship to retreat. Upon hearing this, Golden Lion carried it out without hesitation. What a joke, the two of them couldn't stand the confrontation just now, but now they exploded. At this time, seeing that Frieza exploded with momentum, but did not use a stronger form, Xia En in the field couldn't help shaking her head slightly. It seems that I haven't put enough pressure on you. The voice fell. Suddenly, a circle of ripples oscillated. The entire space trembled accordingly, and the seawater broke away from gravity, floating up with the debris of the ring. 100 times Realm King Fist. Xia En directly filled Frieza's pressure. It was even bigger, and even the arrogance was so strong that it changed colors, and the aura that soared into the sky shocked the whole world. This 100 times, far surpasses the 100 times Realm King Fist used by others. It seems that I still underestimated your potential. Frieza shrank his pupils and started to act immediately. The Comet of Death. The energy condensed on Frieza's body, and an astonishing impact erupted, hitting Xia En like a comet. This move is capable of producing violent explosions and is full of power. He wanted to test the limits of Xia En's current strength. 0. Seeking flowers. 0. I said, you'd better show your true strength. Xia En raised his hand and it was a magic light-killing cannon. Even bigger than before, the comet attack that hit Frieza in the blink of an eye. The power of the light beam was so powerful that it instantly tore Frieza's attack apart and dissipated into the air invisible. Frieza was a little surprised, he didn't expect Xia En to break his chi so easily, stronger than the beam just now. Immediately, He gritted his teeth to avoid the magic light-killing cannon, and at the same time, a ball of light the size of a basketball condensed on his fingertips and fired at it. And knowing that Xia En's promotion is stronger, and the luminous ball is far from enough to pose a threat to him, he opened his mouth and spewed out an even stronger qigong wave from his mouth. First is the light ball, then the qigong wave. Xia En's eyes narrowed, and she fired 2 magic light cannons again, hitting them precisely. But this time it didn't tear it apart, but Frieza caused a big explosion because of his intentions. The impact caused by the airflow and energy raged in the blooming fire. It's like a giant devouring monster that has been terrifying all the time, making countless people tremble with fear when they see it. Catch the opportunity. At this time, while the Big Bang was raging in the air, Frieza actually dodged and appeared behind Xia En like teleportation. Covered with chi that strengthens the attack, he slammed towards Xia En's heart. The physical strength of people on this planet is very weak, and once they get close, they can give full play to their advantages. Frieza's calculation was very good, and it has to be said that it is also true. However, he used the strategy to the wrong target. Xia En didn't even need to turn her head to feel the chill on her back, and it was inevitable that she would be too late to turn around. But he didn't panic, even the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Susanoo. Mangekyo Sharingan flashed in the pupils. In a flash, orange-red light burst out from the body. Like an inflated balloon, Frieza's attack landed on the light film, and was immediately pushed back by the supported Susanoo. This layer of translucent orange-red light stretched out, quickly forming an illusory giant form. Bastard. This is the trick. Frieza never expected Xia En's defensive moves to be so tenacious. His own palm didn't pierce it at all, but was knocked back instead. Chapter 121 Open. 150 times Kaiwang Fist. Horror Strength. Advertise here. Susanoo shrouded Xia En inside, and the defense was so strong that Frieza couldn't leave any marks on it even if he slashed with his palm again. On the other hand, Xia En watched Frieza's movements with great interest, with her arms folded in front of her chest, her eyes seemed to have a little contempt. It's not that he looks down on Frieza, but that he can still maintain his original state at this moment, and he can't break Susanoo. Frieza gritted his teeth and cursed. Damn it. Immediately turned into an afterimage, performing high-speed moving body skills around Susanoo. He dodges and punches Susanoo in the head, and kicks Susanoo in the chest in less than a second. The points that caused Susanoo's body to be hit were all twinkling. With such a high speed, the pirates and marines on the battleship couldn't see him at all, it looked like Xia En was standing there passively being beaten. 417 inches, this guy's moving speed is too fast. Why didn't Master Xia En fight back? Doesn't it mean that if we go on like this, we will be hit continuously, and will the defense be broken? Five elders, Gellinger, Garp, Kong, Sengoku, Whitebeard and others couldn't help but feel serious and worried. However, Frieza himself knows how strong Xia En's defense is, and his fists and feet have chi to buff his attack power, so he can't shake it. After hitting for a long time, Xia En moved Susanoo's arm, accurately caught Frieza's movement track, swung Susanoo's arm to push him back, and raised his hand to shoot Frieza with a light cannon. However, at this moment, Frieza took advantage of the situation and quickly backed away, laughing lowly. For a few moments, the defense formed with such energy can block me, King Frieza, but it's coming to an end. Frieza no longer has the previous contempt in his eyes, and his aura begins to rise continuously. Xia En can't be threatened with the current combat power, start to enter the second form. The light cannon held by Xia En was also slowly lowered, without directly attacking it. Instead, he watched Frieza yell loudly, and his aura surged crazily. The short body began to grow taller, the muscles collided, and it became a burly figure in a short period of time. He. Usually in order to control my overpowering power, I deliberately weaken it to a form that can be controlled at will. Now, you have successfully angered me. Feel the power of the Universe Emperor. It's just that the arms are opened, and the violent airflow explodes, stronger than a typhoon. Compared with the original first form, Frieza at this time makes everyone feel more frightened and terrifying. That cosmic man can actually transform. This smell is terrible. Even though he was far away from the center of the battle, couldn't help his heart trembling, and the rest of them trembled even more, swallowing hard, and their backs felt cold. This kind of terrifying existence seems to be able to kill them with just one look. But what made everyone feel more at ease was that Xia En's expression shrouded by Susanoo was still calm, and he was not surprised by Frieza's change. The power of the Universe Emperor. Xia En couldn't help chuckling. Before Frieza could finish his triumph, the next moment, a more terrifying momentum swept across the entire sea area. 150 times Kaioken. The arrogance almost shrouded the huge Susanoo, and Xia En's own strength was raised to a new height. The naked eye could see circles of dense lightning around the flames, the breathless momentum made even the opposing Frieza startled. Immediately, a luminous cannon arrived. Hurry up! Frieza didn't even have time to react, and was pierced through Xia En's light cannon in an instant. The smile Frieza still had was stiff on his face, he felt a pain in his chest, and blood gushed out. Then, a terrifying explosion sounded behind him, and a huge fireball bloomed in the air, dripping down with scorching impact. You bastard. This penetrating injury is nothing to Frieza, but now he was injured by the opponent just after turning on the second form of transformation, and his face was stepped on the ground, which made his proud heart burn with anger. But in the next second, Xia En bumped into Frieza at high speed against Susanoo. The air driven by the 1,000-meter-long illusory giant at a super high speed formed a big killer, and the atmospheric pressure with a bang knocked Frieza into the air first. Then, Susanoo's fist followed like a shadow, catching up with Frieza's body and punching down. One punch sonic boom. The air waves can be seen with the naked eye. The powerful force directly knocked Frieza into the air, and fell towards the distant sea. The hundreds of feet of sea waves roared, and Frieza slammed hard on the ground of the seabed, and crushed the surface, sinking in. Such a powerful impact brought about an earthquake. But Xia En knew that such an attack might not be able to injure Frieza, even if the light cannon pierced his body, it would only be a small trauma. As expected, everyone watching the battle has not yet reacted from the shock. I saw Frieza's body burst out with aerosolized momentum, rushing out of the rough sea, heading straight for Xia En. Seeing this, Xia En raised Susanoo's fist and punched him again. Frieza was completely crushed, and Frieza gritted his teeth, the anger in his eyes never dissipated but became more vigorous. In the next second, the two slammed into each other fiercely. The other hand hit it without hesitation. Although Frieza didn't suffer too serious injuries, being caught and exploded with a hammer was undoubtedly a huge insult to his body and mind, and he was furious from the bottom of his heart. The fluctuation swept away the sky, wiped out the sea surface, and even caused the underground magma to erupt. Just when everyone was shocked and terrified, Frieza's scream came. Boom. Xia En persevered and directly followed. The illusory Susanoo directly reached out 4.5 to clamp Frieza's body firmly. Damn it. Damn it. Xia En, who was staring at him closely, chased after him again. With Susanoo's strength, he was not afraid of Frieza's counterattack, and only a fierce attack could make Frieza feel the real pressure. Bang bang bang. In terms of strength and speed, Frieza's second form and Xia En, who has 150 times the Kaiwanquan, are comparable. Even I Am and the five elders could feel a wave of impact and oppression, but fortunately Whitebeard blocked it with Susanoo. The deep collision sound is accompanied by the shock aftermath spreading outwards in all directions. As a result, the chi on his body exploded unreservedly, allowing himself to form a gas bomb to explode, thereby breaking free from Xia En's restraint. Then he quickly moved away from Xia En, his face turned extremely ugly. Immediately, in the confrontation with Xia En, he was pushed back again. Chapter 122 Frieza's third form. Advertise here. Master Xia En unleashed a 150 times Kaio fist. Looking at the battle in the distance, Blackbeard had a new understanding of Xia En's strength. He was extremely shocked. He is now Ginyu's body, and his senses are particularly keen, and he even clearly perceives how huge the difference between Frieza and him is. But such a terrifying cosmic being is being suppressed by Xia En's explosive hammer at the moment, so it can be seen that the opponent has no chance to launch an effective counterattack. Master Xia En suppressed him. Our king is invincible. Five elders, marine, pirates and others are very excited to watch. How long can Frieza hold on like this? Indeed, Frieza is playing very hard at the moment. After finally getting rid of Susanoo's palm, he jumped over and tried to fight back. Nova Strike. Surrounded by bursting air, Xia En punched the past decisively, using Susanoo to hit the past. As a result, a terrifying explosion lit up the entire sky, the earth trembled, and the wind raged. Frieza flew upside down instead of being bombarded. Xia En's Susanoo is not injured at all and is still intact. 06 It's pure strength and Susanoo's sturdiness that breaks Nova Strike. Such a strong defense gave Frieza a headache. Can't even break through the defense in the second form. No, it's impossible. It was hard for Frieza to believe that his current combat power couldn't even break through Xia En's defense, and immediately attacked like crazy. Multiple death beams. Qi Gong waves. There's even a ray cut from the eyes. Under the indiscriminate bombardment, Susanoo, supported by Xia En, was wrapped in flames and smoke. Seeing that Xia En didn't react, didn't dodge from it, or continued to fight out, Frieza flew upwards, and all his fingers burst out with purple-red beams of light. Death Beam Web. Frieza felt that it was not enough to shake Xia En's defense, so he decisively launched this extremely expensive move. This move can not only restrict the opponent's actions, but also compress the opponent in it, and be cut by the beam. Before Xia En showed his figure in the flames, he was surrounded by the criss-cross beam net. Go to hell. Immediately, Frieza smiled cruelly and closed his palms. The light beams surrounding Xia En from the bottom, top, left, and right suddenly tightened. That's it. Suddenly, Xia En's voice came out, and Susanoo scattered the smoke, dust and flames with a palm, and the orange-red light was bright, and it grew 3 heads and 6 arms, and grabbed the shrinking net. How can this be? Frieza was shocked again. He never thought that Xia En could use such a method to deal with the death beam net. Although the sparks of energy are splashing all over and producing a violent reaction, the beam net obviously cannot be effective against Xia En's Susan, and cannot break through the defense at all. What kind of method can achieve this level? The bombing can't be opened, and the net can't be cut. Frieza was a little confused. And Xia En didn't do anything fancy with him. Susanoo's 6 arms grabbed the death beam net, under the wrestling force to prevent it from shrinking, and then rotated forcefully. Frieza's beam net was torn directly. Gasification as a little bit of starlight dissipated in midair. Frieza's breathing became short of breath, his face grim. Because at this time, Xia En's face was full of playfulness, as if to say, is there any new moves? Every move can't work, even the phantom giant can't break through. Playing with Xia En, Frieza was completely furious. The aura around him rose steadily, and the purple-red torrent visible to the naked eye spread from Frieza's body to the sky. In an instant, the climate of the whole world has changed. Whether the sky is clear or raining, under the influence of Frieza's terrifying momentum, all places have turned into low-altitude dark clouds, and thunder is rolling. With all his strength and furious fury, Frieza gritted his teeth, stared at Xia En and said with a cross, "Grand grace. Then I will show you what real terror is." Everyone felt the change in Frieza and was terrified. A thunderbolt as thick as a bucket fell from the sky and passed by in a flash. Suddenly, Genris's body undergoes a huge change. Not only is his momentum rising, but his strength is also growing, his body is also beginning to grow. The horns on the head become longer, the back of the skull becomes longer, the muscles further expand, and the body begins to develop horizontally. If the previous Frieza was still in the acceptable aesthetic category, then the current change is towards the ugly side, it really looks like a monster. Involuntarily, marine pirates, five elders and others all held their breath in fear, watching Frieza's changes in disbelief. This monster. It can even improve. It's terrible. Is this the true strength of the Emperor of the Universe? This is a horror beyond hell. Not to mention the other people whose strength has not been enhanced, Whitebeard, Kaido, and Blackbeard who have been promoted by Xia En all feel their own insignificance. In front of Frieza's terrifying form, it's like a leaf fluttering and falling on the surface of the stormy water, life will be overturned at any time. Xia En was not surprised by this, and watched Frieza's changes with cold eyes, watching quietly. Until Frieza's angry voice stopped for 210 times, he showed a cruel smile and said, "This is my third form. How is it? Are you scared to death? You forced me to do this. Do you think my strength is only this little? People of my race are the strongest race in the universe, and I am the best among them." Frieza liberated more power, and the soaring combat power made him calm down a lot, but the killing intent was also stronger. Xia En let him show such an ugly form, naturally it is impossible to let him go. The strongest in the universe. Are you sure? Xia En didn't take it seriously, and said with a smile after hehe. There are many people in the universe that are stronger than the Frieza race, how dare this guy say it? This tone made Frieza's eyes change slightly, he simply avoided the strongest race, and laughed at Xia En. I really hope you can be so stubborn later, it seems that you don't understand your situation. I can activate the third form, and my strength has skyrocketed by more than 10 times, and you can no longer increase your combat power. Frieza laughed with a determined expression, as if he was thinking about how to torture and kill Xia En. Because upgrading and strengthening one's combat power has a limit, no matter how strong a person's body is, it can accept 100 times increase, but the burden on the body will be greater. Even if Xia En can continue to improve, Frieza I think he will definitely be burst. Chapter 123 After warming up, Xia En is getting serious. Advertise here. Could it be that if you continue to use the enhanced moves, won't your body explode first? Ha 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 ha. Frieza laughed mockingly. It is precisely because of the increased burden on his body that Frieza was sure that Xia En could not continue to improve, otherwise he would split apart before he even started fighting. Physical load is key. These words spread to the marine pirates' camp, and everyone couldn't help being stunned. That's right, Kaiwang Fist will bring a huge burden to the body. It would be fine if it is dozens of times higher, but if it is 100 times higher, it will put a very heavy burden on the body. Whitebeard gritted his teeth and said, he couldn't help worrying about Xia En. Frieza transformed into form again, and his strength soared, obviously not weaker than Xia En's momentum at this time. You must know that Xia En is now 150 times Kaioken. If he continues to improve in order to fight against Frieza, what a terrible pressure his body will bear. Lord Xia En maybe really can't continue to increase his strength to fight against him. Can or can't, if overloaded, Master Xia En will be in danger immediately. But who can stop Frieza? Immediately, everyone's faces sank, and their eyes were full of worry. Originally thought that Xia En could deal with the so-called Emperor of the Universe, but the truth is not that simple. Frieza, the King of the Universe, is a real monster. However, just when everyone was terrified of Frieza from the bottom of their hearts and cast a shadow, Xia En was unmoved by Frieza's words. I don't need to worry about whether I can improve. As a result, Xia En hadn't finished speaking. Suddenly, Yao and Sa disappeared in place. The speed was so fast that others couldn't even see it, and it had already punched Susanoo on the forehead. That is, where Xia En is. Susanoo is not as indestructible as before. With the terrifying strength and the energy released by Frieza, a circle of impact was wiped out, like ripples on the water surface. Taking advantage of the trend, Susanoo hit the crack directly. The crack spread at an extremely fast speed, and immediately the entire Susanoo, the illusory body of thousands of meters collapsed into pieces. I got you back quote. Frieza laughed sharply. In particular, the castration of her stature has not diminished, directly hitting Xia En's face. As if Xia En didn't react, she was directly sent flying by Frieza's blow, flying backwards towards the distant sky. Boom! Frieza's speed seemed to have surpassed the speed of sound, knocking Xia En into the air, and the sound exploded. Master Xia En, I am, 5 elders, and marine pirates were all terrified. They watched Xia En fly backwards at a very fast speed, and they were terrified. Master Xia En's physical body can resist this power. No, it's impossible. How could Frieza follow so many? Is Master Xia En going to lose? Susanoo was actually broken, and it was one hit, knocking Xia En into the air. Frieza was even more excited, as if all the previous anger and humiliation had been released. He laughed and caught up with the inverted Xia En. A knee hit Xia En's back, and Lu Yuanen's neck went higher. Frieza immediately used both hands to aim at Xia En, and waves of Qigong exploded wildly. Beam of Death, Finger Light Bomb, Qigong Wave. A series of intensive attacks completely drowned Xia En. The first sound of the explosion began, shaking the entire space. The more bombardment, the more proud Frieza will be. With a big laugh, he kept saying, "Go to hell. Go to hell, arrogant boy." It was such an explosion, which lasted for more than 10 seconds, and released several beams of light wave bombardment every second. In the end, Frieza blasted into the flames with a punishing shock wave. It was the ball of light held by the palm, exuding a purple-red glare. After Frieza exploded vigorously, it formed a wave of light that sank into the flames and produced an even more terrifying energy explosion. This kind of eruption, the explosion in the air, has caused half the world to shake. Countless people panic and fear because of this, because most people in the world are watching the live broadcast, until the earthquake, the strong wind blowing us all because of the fighting movement caused by the king of the universe, Frieza. Lord Xia En is more ominous than good. The world is coming to an end. Under such an attack, it can still be intact. Seeing this scene, everyone in the world has no confidence and gradually becomes somewhat desperate. I am, 5 elders, marine pirate and others who were able to see the scene with their own eyes turned pale with fright and trembled all over. Master Xia En. No, I cannot. Under such a terrifying attack, can Master Xia En really be fine? None of the marine pirates dared to imagine, but all of them were somewhat desperate. The reversal of the situation, Frieza's horror beyond hell deeply imprinted in everyone's heart. However, the despair of the crowd did not last long. Even if you don't die, you will be seriously injured. You can't keep this planet. Quote. In the sky, Frieza looked at his masterpiece and laughed happily. In that ball of energy flames, the temperature was already frighteningly high, and when it gradually dimmed, smoke and dust billowed. The fluctuation of energy also makes it impossible for other people to perceive what the people inside are like, but with the disappearance of visual impairment. Xia En's figure actually stood up and appeared in front of everyone. Using so much energy, it's like a soot maker. However, Xia En was intact, even with a smile on her face. You must know that Frieza will be injured even if he bears this level of bombing. Frieza even pointed at Xia En and said, well, speechless. Frieza felt his heart choke when he heard the words, and the anger in his chest almost exploded from there. The people watching the battle were desperate and terrified for a second, but Xia En appeared intact and shocked everyone immediately. It's all right. Master Xia En is all right. Didn't it break his defense already? Such a huge amount of energy exploded on him, how could there be nothing wrong? That's it. It's nothing more than that. I thought you could launch some amazing offensive by turning on the third form. It took several breaths before Whitebeard and the others came to their senses. Xia En's tone was flat, but the words were full of direct ridicule towards Frieza. But at this time, as soon as the words fell, Chong En changed. Great. Look, no injuries. The body glowed with a layer of light, reflecting its hair into silver white. Come on, Frieza, I'm done warming up. Frieza's pupils trembled even more, looking at the unscathed Xia En in disbelief. Xia En's strength was far beyond everyone's imagination, which directly shocked everyone. Father of Freedom. Chapter 124,300 times Realm King Fist, open. Advertise here. Ha ha ha, I thought what form it was, your aura isn't that strong. Frieza was quite surprised at first, especially when Xia En said that the warm-up was over. But after feeling Xia En's aura, he felt relieved. When you raise your hand, more beams burst out. Multiple death rays. The beams gathered into a net became even more powerful, tearing through the air and heading straight for Xia En. With such a density, the coverage area is wider, no matter which direction Xia En is going to be hit. This is also Frieza's plan, as long as it is hit once, it can make up for continuous attacks again. Isn't your defense amazing? Then bomb to break the defense. The expression in Xia En's eyes is even more calm, and the fighting instinct after turning on ZZG hardly requires thinking. The figure dodged quickly, so fast that Frieza's vision was blurred. The body shrouded in silver and white moved back and forth, shuttling among the dense beams of light. Although being hit would not bring any damage to Xia En, Ultra Instinct would not allow being hit, everything was driven by instinct. How did you do it? Dodging the dense beams head-on really surprised Frieza. 113 immediately gritted his teeth and galloped towards Xia En. In Frieza's third form, even Susanoo can be blown up with one punch, and his melee combat strength is obviously stronger than that of long-range Qigong bow. But he didn't know that the form of Ultra Instinct was almost unsolvable for melee combat. Frieza was so fast that he appeared in front of Xia En like a flash. He whipped his leg and sent out a sonic boom to sweep away. At the same time as he turned around, a ball of light burst out in his hand. Unexpectedly, Xia En was only slightly sideways, and Frieza's whip leg attack was missed. Even the light waves accumulated in his hand were completely missed, passing Xia En's chest. On the contrary, Xia En, who came to the side, retaliated and kicked Frieza back fiercely. Fast to vague movements, from Frieza's attack to Xia En's dodge, the people watching the battle couldn't see clearly that Frieza's attack missed and was hit by the heavy electric shock. Frieza himself was even more startled, bearing the strength of Xia En's legs and slid a certain distance, with disbelief in his eyes. How can this guy be so fast? Obviously his own attack happened first, and he was about to succeed, but Xia En started to move later, just dodging his own attack. No, he predicted my actions. But soon, Frieza came to his senses, his angry expression flashed suddenly. No matter how fast the speed is, it is impossible to dodge the attack in front of him within a few milliseconds. The only explanation is that Xia En still has insight into his own attack. Knowing this, Frieza exploded with arrogance, and once again attacked in an instant, constantly shooting around Xia En. However, Xia En predicted Frieza's movements and moved around leisurely, dodging his fists and feet with the smallest margin. Whether it's the extended chi or the strength of the fist, nothing can really fall on Xia En's body. However, such a quick attack seemed to the five elders, and the marine pirates to be an afterimage entangled, and it was impossible to see the battle between the two of them clearly. Those who can see clearly are the three people who have been greatly improved in Whitebeard. Frieza kept attacking, but Master Xia En entered the Ultra Instinct form and perfectly dodged all the opponent's attacks. Everyone now knows how powerful Ultra Instinct is, and they are relieved to know that Xia En is invincible. As everyone knows, at this moment, Frieza was so angry that he smoked, and frantically waved his fists and broke out an extremely swift offensive. But he just couldn't attack Xia En, even if he used various Qigong waves to attack, it was the same, all of them were dodged, as if he had been killed. You just dodge. Frieza roared furiously, the sound waves were like an explosion impact, splitting the sea surface below, and the sea floor was blasted into big holes by the sound waves. A situation like this can be solved by directly using the Planetary Destruction Bomb, not AGCD, afraid that the opponent will dodge, but Frieza refused to accept it and was very upset. Seeing Xia En's indifferent appearance, he finally broke out with all his anger. The momentum seems to have rushed out of the planet, and the huge power will shake everything. A trace of lightning appeared, Frieza shouted loudly, his aura was completely consolidated, and the energy of his whole body poured out. The momentum released this time made the entire planet tremble, shaking the world. Five elders, and the marine pirates were all shocked beyond measure, feeling Frieza's even more horrific outburst of cold sweat, the fear from the soul. He's still ascending. It's terrifying, it's several times more terrifying than before. It's over. Can our world really withstand such a powerful force? Looking into the eyes, the sky and the earth tremble continuously, the ocean is like water in a basin sloshing, and the underground rocks are oppressed and constantly erupting. Originally Xia En could still compete with the powerful momentum, but after Frieza completely liberated himself, it seemed small and indescribably powerful. At this moment, not only the people at the scene could feel the horror of Frieza, but even the people watching the live broadcast all over the world could feel it. Because at this time Frieza's influence is global. Coupled with the images from the vibrating screen, everyone can feel the heart palpitations, even the trembling of the planet. Some people are screaming, some are desperate, some are running wildly. 300 times Realm King Fist. Frieza's horizontally evolved body has turned into a perfect human form, no longer that ugly appearance, and returned to its original appearance, with a small body, no horns and no disgusting limbs. Ha ha ha, sure enough, Master Xia En is an invincible existence. Are you ready to die? Xia En shook her head slightly upon hearing this. This time, the gap between the two sides narrowed and became equal. Although the overall appearance is closer to the aesthetics of normal people, the aura exuded by Frieza is unparalleled. The combat power has increased again. Master Xia En will definitely be able to defeat the Cosmic Man. Immediately, an aura comparable to Frieza surged wildly, and the arrogance around him was even entwined with lightning. At this time, the aura gap between the two sides was very large, which gave Frieza absolute confidence. In the field, the marine pirates who were in despair looked up in shock, hope burst out in their eyes. Seeing the liberation of power, Frieza, who had entered the final form, had already calmed down a lot in his eyes, and let out a comfortable breath. Master Xia En. Facing Frieza who had entered his final form, Xia En couldn't continue to fight him at that energy stage, so he resolutely opened the highest Kaiwang fist to improve his combat power. Said to Xia En mockingly, Frieza clenched his fist. After fighting for a long time, you finally showed your true strength. Chapter 125 Terrified Frieza. This foot is dangerous. Advertise here. Just now they mocked Xia En one after another for not being able to continue to improve, who would have thought that he could still improve to such a terrifying level, comparable to his final form. Frieza was ashamed, angry and surprised in his heart. He gritted his teeth and wanted to curse but couldn't speak. But this time, Xia En took the initiative. Under the majestic arrogance is covered with silver-white light, and in an absolutely strong fighting state, Junin has no reason not to increase the intensity of the attack. Wu Kongshu flew forward, and rushed to Frieza in a short while. The strong wind formed by the high-speed attack of the fist first crushed Frieza's face, but Frieza seemed to have no intention of dodging at all. He gritted his teeth and resisted, and suddenly lowered his hands and grabbed it. The tail was also filled with air immediately, to Xia En's waist. Stab it. Boom. Xia En's fist hit Frieza's cheek, making him bow his head, and his waist was smashed. But he didn't dodge, his arm was caught by Frieza all the time, he just twisted his body to avoid the spike of his tail. The next moment, violent energy erupted from Frieza's body. I got you. Kakuzu's mouth was still crooked, but Frieza screamed excitedly. The berserk energy gushing out was like boiling stellar energy, wantonly destroying Xia En. At the same time, Frieza continuously used Flame Ripple with his other hand. Shockwave-like flames engulfed Xia En. But at this time, Xia En's silvery white light was shining brightly, and she was not hurt by Frieza. Cut disc. Frieza used Qigong to attack one after another, and finally raised his hand to form a disc-shaped throwing air bomb with a slashing effect, aimed at Xia En's head and slashed. Xia En didn't resist the cutting force of this blow, and frowning, the magic light cannon blasted at Frieza's arm, struggled away and quickly opened the distance. The cutting disc follows Xia En automatically. Xia En recognized this move, and it was one of the few more troublesome moves of Frieza. Even Super Saiyan Sun Wukong didn't directly destroy it. Just open your hands. Susanoo appears. The imaginary giant with 3 heads and 6 arms will swing its fist and smash towards the cutting disc. It has to be said that its cutting ability is terrible, but Xia En doesn't care about the consumption. Susanoo's arm was cut off, and she recovered immediately and continued to bomb. The 6 arms continued one after another until this move was completely wiped out. Seeing this, Frieza laughed out loud, and just as he was destroying the cutting disc, he suddenly appeared behind Susanoo's head and smashed it all up in one fell swoop. The violent fluctuations shook away, and everyone who watched was terrified, and continued to retreat in horror. It was really because the battle between Xia En and Frieza was too fierce. Every blow affected the heaven and earth, causing terrifying destruction. Susanoo was broken again. Xia En turned around and fought fiercely with Frieza. Between you and me, Xia En slammed Frieza into the air, retreated more than 10 kilometers, and smashed the small island in the distance. Turning his head, Frieza drove Xia En into the magma at the bottom of the deep sea again. With the fierce expansion of the battlefield, Xia En also completely entered the state of fierce battle, and began to release the full power of Ultra Instinct. Both of them fought to the red line, and smashed through the mainland, leaving a big gap abruptly. 5 elders, Whitebeard, Garp and others controlled the warships and followed them at a low altitude. They were shocked by the earth-shattering battle. If they continue to fight at their level, the whole world will be destroyed. It's too scary, the gods are nothing more than that. What everyone saw was that the apex of the heart was trembling, and the scalp was numb. And it seems that Xia En and Frieza are evenly matched, and it seems that it is not so easy to decide the winner. Frieza, who is at the center of the battle, gets more and more excited as he fights. Because in the fierce battle, he vaguely gained the upper hand, and suppressed Xia En in many attacks. This made Frieza, who was aggrieved and annoyed at first, much more comfortable. If he continues to fight in this situation, Xia En will definitely lose. So I was about to open my mouth to mock Xia En. But at this time, Xia En, who was smashed into the red line by him, exuded a dangerous aura. Such a sudden premonition made Frieza wake up instantly, and he hadn't realized why he had such a feeling. I saw a red dragon breaking through the continent, roaring and blasting out. The speed was so fast and the power was so fierce that Frieza's eyes widened, and a chill rushed straight to his forehead. It was a move kicked by Xia En, and the red mist from his body formed a dragon shape. 0. Ask for flowers. Dangerous. I may not be able to withstand this move. No, I can't resist it, I have to avoid it. The inertia in the fierce battle almost made Frieza rush over, but the warning of the crazy nerves in his body made him understand the horror of this blow. So in a hurry, he didn't care about the shape, and jumped down like a frog to avoid it. But this distance is more beneficial than getting hit by Yi Kai. The berserk red dragon passed by, and a large piece of Frieza's back was directly torn off, dripping with blood. His chi can't bear the power of the red dragon at all. Roar. Frieza saw Yi Kai's power, and it was a time when he was psychologically weak. He took this opportunity to continue attacking, suppressing him, and looking for opportunities. Frieza was indeed a little terrified of Yi Kai's power. Seeing Xia En dive down, he immediately knew that this kind of move could not be triggered to attack at any time. The burning pain in his back made Frieza's eyes flash with shock. It's a pity, if I had been more prepared just now, I would have solved it by bringing him closer. Frieza couldn't bear it, his back hurt. On the other side, the people watching the battle from far away were overjoyed when they saw Xia En's Yi Kai displaying absolute destructive power, which made Frieza even fearful. But Xia En didn't care too much, and if he missed once, he would do it again. After all, Frieza is not that easy to deal with. Yi Kai. It's Master Xia En's special skill. Thinking of this, he swooped down without hesitation, chasing Frieza below. However, at this moment, Xia En stabilized her figure and looked down at Frieza, who was accused of not having a large amount of flesh and blood on his back. The red dragon's castration continued unabated, and it moved towards the distance along the direction, completely separating the ocean, and opened a big gully that could not be healed for a long time. No way, Frieza's final form is really strong. If he doesn't use Night Guy, Frieza, who has the upper hand, will have a greater advantage. Why does he still have such a powerful move? Almost. If he is hit head-on, he will be smashed to pieces. As long as Xia En burst out with that red aura, he would immediately dodge and keep a safe distance. Chapter 126 Frieza can't win anymore, use a big move. Advertise here. This time the situation reversed, completely leaning towards Xia En's side. Although Frieza was still able to fight Xia En in melee and fought fiercely, even if there was an obvious opportunity to continue to attack, Frieza gave up decisively and was very careful. It seems that you have to be tough. Xia En is also a headache, the trap in the move Frieza will never be used again. So I decided to go head to head with him. As the two sides interacted with each other, Xia En seized the opportunity and stretched out her palm to grab Frieza's tail. Frieza was startled, and the energy burst tried to shake Xia En's palm away. Unexpectedly, this time, Xia En was in danger of being attacked continuously by him, and the silver-white light in his hand was reinforced to firmly grasp it. Asshole. Frieza didn't know what Xia En's idea was, and immediately burst out all kinds of light wave energy from his hands. Even the eyes of 193 burst out with rays, all falling on Xia En's body, trying to repel him. But at this time, Xia En didn't care at all, and didn't let go even the pain of being beaten. Instead, she stretched out her other hand to withstand Frieza's bombardment. Red mist began to appear on the body. Did you really think I would be afraid of your trick? Let go, or I will directly destroy this planet. Frieza screamed, his pupils contracted, and he sensed the dangerous aura again. Immediately, he raised his finger without hesitation, and gathered a dark red light ball with lightning. That's Death Bomb, Frieza's move to destroy planets. As a result, Xia En grinned, holding Frieza's tail tightly with one hand, and at the same time, his body was like a tight bow, and the red breath on his body reached the level where he could attack. Night Guy. The destruction of the planet and the death energy bomb are all Frieza's bluffing. Xia En's eyes flashed determination. As long as Frieza and this energy bomb are kicked away, all threats will disappear. Hateful. In his desperation, Frieza would not use an energy bomb to blow up a planet, but instead smashed a football-sized energy bomb on Xia En's facade, and directly cut off his own tail in the middle. Dock for survival. However, the distance between Frieza and Xia En is too close. Even if they dodge by docking their tails, there is no way to dodge them all. Boom. The terrifying red dragon slanted towards the sky. And that night, Guy's terrifying power surpassed Frieza's legs, directly forming a vaporized state, annihilating both of his legs. Frieza was really frightened and terrified. Regardless of the pain in his legs, he quickly retreated, pulling away from the extreme distance, sweating profusely. Can't stop it at all. Can't stop it. Feeling the terrifying power of Yi Guy again, Frieza was completely startled by him, and from the moment his legs touched, he could better understand how powerful the power of destruction is. This made you run away. It seems that it is really hard to kill. Xia En frowned as she looked at her aching arm from Frieza. After taking precautions, it is indeed very difficult to make a deadly move against an opponent of this level. This is also the reason why Xia En didn't continue to use other big moves. Once Frieza alerted her, the situation would become troublesome. Frieza backed away with an incomparably gloomy face, but not a single drop of blood leaked from his legs, and he was gradually recovering. And because he was afraid of Xia En's moves, he stared at Xia En more cautiously. Xia En raised the corners of her lips slightly, and continued to pursue Frieza in a blink of an eye. The two fight together again. But what is different this time is that Xia En has no chance to catch Frieza again, and Frieza will retreat violently when he senses something is wrong. The people watching the battle below were desperate and worried at the beginning, and now they are getting more and more excited. Frieza has fallen into a disadvantage. Master Xia En's Yi Guy is too fierce. Look, it's another blow to Yi Guy's red dragon. 5 elders, Gellinger and others exclaimed again and again while watching the battle. Even Frieza was very defensive, but he couldn't resist Xia En's sudden casting of Yi Guy. That's right, during a normal fight, whether it's releasing Qigong waves or physical confrontation, as long as the interval between activations is sufficient, Xia En doesn't care about the consumption. Lifting your legs is remembering the Night Guy. The ferocious red dragon jumps over, falls into the sea or blasts its red line, which is extremely shocking. And Frieza fell into an extremely aggrieved situation. His newly recovered legs were kicked by Xia En, and even his tail was destroyed twice. If you don't dodge in time, you will be kicked by Xia En directly. Can't go on like this. Must get rid of. Frieza also realized at this time, if he procrastinated, he would be killed before Xia En was exhausted. And it's not that he doesn't have a whole card, it's just that he thought the final form was good enough before, but he didn't expect to be forced to this point by Xia En. So after dodging Xia En's Yi Guy in embarrassment, Frieza, who was in a cold sweat, flew towards the sky without saying a word, not daring to continue fighting. And in the process of ascending, the aura of some falls continued to skyrocket. Don't be complacent, Frieza roared, decisively entering the 100% full power state. Just now I was only half of my strength, now, you and this planet both accept death. Just now, Frieza wanted to blow up the planet, but was destroyed by Xia En's Yi Guy, and immediately activated 100% of his full strength, and his physical strength would be lost in a large amount, so he didn't intend to continue to entangle with Xia En at all. Decided to use the big move. Destroy this hateful planet and all the hateful people. Planet Destroyer. Frieza's raised fingertips condensed a black air bomb, and dark red lightning flashed in this mass of terrifying energy. And in the process of condensing, it continued to grow bigger, and an extremely frightening aura enveloped the world. Five elders, and marine pirates witnessed Frieza condense his ultimate move with their own eyes, and were immediately stunned by the terrifying aura, and their minds were shocked. Xia En frowned even more. It seems that 5.0 is really in a hurry and started to go crazy. Want to destroy Pirate World directly? It's not that simple. Without further ado, Xia En quickly flew towards Frieza's location, her arrogance soared, and her red aura kicked out with one kick, turning into a ferocious red dragon. Night Guy. As long as it hits Frieza, it will definitely interrupt the planetary destruction bomb. But at this time, Frieza's eyes didn't have the fear before, and the speed after turning on the full power state was more than doubled. Facing Xia En, Yi Guy moved away holding a brewing planet-destroying bomb, and appeared in a further distance in an instant. The red dragon hit the air and flew straight into the atmosphere towards high altitude. Ha 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 ha, my speed is enough to throw you away. But I don't want to play anymore. Xia En, follow this planet into cosmic dust. Chapter 127 Planet Destroyer Bomb. Advertise here. After Xia En heard Frieza's arrogant words, he also frowned slightly, according to the current speed. It was indeed very difficult for him to catch up to Frieza in front of him. Because now Frieza's speed is just as he said, far surpassing himself. However, if Frieza is allowed to continue in this way, the entire pirate world will be in jeopardy. This is the last situation Xia En wants to see. After all, the pirate world is the world everyone lives in. Therefore, when faced with this situation, Xia En also frowned secretly. Then directly turned his body into a streamer, and rushed towards 06 towards Frieza. Because he never thought before that Frieza would actually dare to destroy the entire pirate world. We must know that this pirate world is not only the place where it lives, but also the place where Frieza relies most on. Now Frieza is going to destroy the whole world, which is something Xia En never thought of before. It is precisely because of this that Xia En was very surprised by the choices made by Frieza. However, at this moment, a sharp look flashed in Frieza's eyes. Immediately, a more terrifying momentum erupted directly. Frieza slammed the planet-destroying bomb in his hand towards Xia En. His purpose is very simple, to destroy Xia En and this planet together. Seeing this, Xia En also took a deep breath. Now that Frieza has delivered the strongest blow in his hand, there is only one thing he has to do, and that is when facing the strongest blow. Using the most powerful defensive power in his whole body, he forcibly resisted this strongest blow. Only the strongest blow that can withstand can make the follow-up things easier. Therefore, at this time, Xia En was not polite at all. He wants to see who is better than his strongest shield and Frieza's strongest spear. Although this is a very contradictory proposition, Xia En has to do so now. I saw that Xia En was not polite at all, and rushed towards Frieza directly. And this move surprised Frieza greatly. Because he knew that in terms of Xia En's strength, it was actually not difficult to avoid his fatal blow. But what made him feel unbelievable was that Xia En rushed forward directly. This made Xia En frown slightly. It also made Xia En feel it very clearly. Now that Frieza is doing this, it makes people feel that there are some incredible actions. So 043 Xia En is not polite at all. I saw that at this moment, it seemed that the entire air and time had frozen. All eyes were on Xia En and Frieza. Especially when Xia En is facing the war of destroying the stars, how will he respond? This also made everyone's hearts rise to their throats. But at this time, Xia En was not polite at all. When he rushed towards Frieza, a burst of blue light burst out from his whole body. This blue light can contain a heavy defensive power. The power of this defense is gradually condensed together, slowly shining light at the same time. Chapter 128 Confrontation Again. Advertise here. There was a trace of astonishment in everyone's eyes. At this time, Xia En's whole body exuded blue light and collided with the planetary bomb. At this time, the planetary destruction bombs are constantly coming out, which really makes people feel a very horrifying coercion. Under this coercion, it seems that cracks have been created in the space. The moment they came into contact with the planet-destroying bomb, those in Xia En felt extremely shocked. Because Xia En has never thought that the planet-destroying bomb contains such powerful power. Directly destroy its outer defense greatly. In an instant, he had reached the internal defense of his body. So at this time, Xia En may have no choice but to escape. Because when the planet-destroying bomb came, it had already locked all the 8 directions of his body, up, down, left, and right. No matter which direction he escapes from, it will lead to a swift attack of planet destroyers. And at this time, Frieza poured all his power into the planetary destruction bomb. So when facing Xia En's thought of dodging, I saw a crazy smile appeared on the corner of Frieza's mouth. For Frieza, if he let Xia En run away at this time. So for him, all his previous efforts will be in vain. Therefore, when Frieza fell, Ning also emitted a particularly powerful light above his fist. There was a terrifying power in this light, and it hit Xia En's head again. Faced with Frieza's estimate and the original power of the planet-destroying bomb. Under the double blow, Xia En couldn't help but took a step back. It was at the same time that Xia En retreated a wave, causing Xia En's whole body to bear the huge attack. It also diffuses and counteracts a part of the attack. At this moment, it can be said that Xia En is already facing great danger. But Xia En really didn't have the slightest fear. The attack of the planetary bomb has also broken through nearly half of Xia En's defense. As long as he can make himself use this big move, then naturally Frieza will also be killed by himself. If you add Frieza's attack, then Xia En can be said to be in a real crisis. I saw Frieza waving his fist and hitting Xia En's head directly. Because I just want to let you know that when a person makes a mistake, he needs to pay the corresponding price. But now the reason why Xia En has to show the attack on the planet-destroying bomb is so hard. Even in the face of this level of attack, it seems to be dwarfed. Although Frieza's speed is extremely terrifying, it has almost doubled his original speed. Because if you are a little careless, you may be turned into ashes under this kind of attack. Then he taunted Xia En and said, because for Xia En, it still has a real big move that it hasn't used yet. Didn't you expect your strength to be nothing more than this? I thought how powerful you are. But you have no chance to correct your mistakes. Maybe I really looked up to you before. After saying this, Frieza showed a crazy smile at the corner of his mouth. Seeing Xia En's distressed appearance, Frieza also showed a pervert smile. Chapter 129 Seducing Frieza. Advertise here. I just want to lure Frieza up, because if Frieza wants to escape. Xia En is also helpless, and after a period of contact just now. Xia En has thoroughly figured out how the planetary bomb works. Although the planetary destruction bomb is very terrifying, as long as Xia En can stop the planetary destruction bomb from exploding. Then the planet destroyer is really a piece of crap. So at this time Xia En didn't hesitate at all, still struggling to resist the planet-destroying bomb. After Frieza saw this scene, he finally let go of all doubts in his heart. Started to charge towards Xia En at full speed. Because Frieza thinks that the planetary bomb has given Xia En a lot of pressure. 020 now Xia En has reached the point where it is hard to stand. Now he only needs to defeat Xia En, then he is still the most powerful man in the world of pirates. After all, he saw how embarrassed Xia En was. Frieza's heart has been greatly satisfied. In the past, he had never won against Xia En. Therefore, facing Xia En's embarrassing appearance this time. He also felt very happy, because for Frieza. He just wants to let Xia En know what is called GCC, there are people beyond people, and there is a sky beyond the sky. So when facing this moment, Frieza couldn't help it either, and said to Xia En again. Hurry up and take out your strongest blow. In this way, I will be able to know how far your strength is from mine. After all, under such a terrifying attack from a planetary destruction bomb. You may not have any chance of surviving, and if you don't speak now, you may not have the opportunity to speak again after a while. Hearing Frieza mocking Xia En so much, Xia En shook her head slightly, and then responded to Frieza. Do you know why in general plot development, the villain wins first and then loses? It is because you villains talk too much. How about this, the two of us make an agreement? After hearing Xia En's words, Frieza also showed a puzzled expression in his eyes. Then he nodded slightly and said to Xia En. Tell me, let me see what kind of agreement we can have between the two of us. I didn't expect you, a dying person, to be so relaxed and freehand. I really admire you for this. Quote. When Xia En heard that Frieza was interested in his promise. He also immediately said to Frieza. The agreement between the two of us can be said to be very simple, if it is in this battle. If I can withstand the double attack of you and the planet destroyer. Then I hope you can be convinced to me in the future. Don't make me feel contemptuous and treacherous for what you have done. If you dare not accept this agreement, then there is only one end you will face next, and that must be death. Quote. After Xia En said these words, Frieza was also willing to be stunned for a moment. Then he showed a presumptuous smile again, and after a wild laugh, he said to Xia En with some incomprehension. I don't know how you, a dying person, have the courage to say these words before you. The ignorant are really fearless, ha ha ha. Chapter 130 Only one can live. Because if you know between me and you, it is impossible for anyone to survive. But since you are in this situation, dare to make this agreement with me. That means you still have a glimmer of hope in yourself. I hope you will not be blinded by such false hopes. Quote. After saying this, Frieza rushed towards Xia En without any hesitation. But he also nodded, which made Xia En understand instantly. He has already promised his agreement. Seeing this, a smile appeared on the corner of Xia En's mouth. After all, for Xia En, what he needs most now is time. Because he has accumulated strength in his body now. It's just that this power has not been mobilized in a big way, but is being mobilized slowly. He just wanted to catch Frieza by surprise. And Xia En has also discovered that the planet destroyer is actually related to Frieza's left arm. Because Frieza just used his right arm to attack him. And the left arm has been tightly responding to the energy of the planet-destroying bomb. So at this moment, Xia En also knows, as long as he can take control of the planet-destroying bomb in his hands, then it can use Frieza's control over the planet-destroying bomb to completely block the planet-destroying bomb in its hand. All the efforts Xia En made were not for himself to be able to live. It's to prevent Frieza from destroying One Piece world. So at this time, Frieza and the planet destroyers double attack on Xia En. Xia En also dodges directly and dodges directly. The attack of the planetary bomb, although it is said that the defense of Xia En's whole body has been almost destroyed by the planetary bomb. But the remaining defensive power is still very sufficient when facing Frieza. At this moment, Xia En stretched out a finger. In an instant, a flash of lightning condensed on his fingers. The electric light quickly rushed towards Frieza. After Frieza saw this flash of lightning, he was also taken aback for an instant. He had never imagined that there was such a terrifying power in such lightning. 0. Seeking flowers. Frieza was also somewhat hampered in the speed of his punches. At this moment, Frieza and Dian Guang touched each other, and there was a burst of crackling sound all over Frieza's body. When this voice resounds all over the body, Frieza had a surprised expression on the corner of his mouth. For Frieza, he never thought that Xia En would encounter such a powerful attack. 0.00. Unexpectedly, it was able to burst out such a tyrannical attack and power. Let him silently wipe the sweat from his body. His gaze also changed from a horrified look to one that made people feel surprised. However, at this time, Frieza did not give up in the slightest. Because in his view, Xia En is just the end of the battle. If you want to fight against him, Xia En is really short of something. Therefore, at this time, Frieza thought that Xia En was holding on. Without letting himself see, he had gained a great advantage. So at this time, Frieza rushed towards Xia En again. Chapter 131 Dangerous Things. Advertise here. Xia En already guessed that Frieza would charge towards him. Because Xia En knows that Frieza is like this. Once it was something he thought was dangerous, Frieza would never do it. But once he thinks that this danger can be controlled by himself, Frieza will not have the slightest hesitation. In the early stage, Xia En had given Frieza hope of victory. Now that Xia En wants to take away this hope, 780, Frieza will never agree. So Frieza will stop Xia En desperately. So at this time, after Xia En saw Frieza, she also made an evasive action. There was also a faint look in his eyes. After all, for him, he never thought that Xia En would be able to make such a tyrannical attack on his current situation. So at this time, Xia En avoided Frieza's attack with a slight sideways move. And Frieza didn't expect to be at such a fast speed at this time. It was actually able to be dodged by Xia En, his political mushroom. Frieza just felt that there was no face on his face. Frieza yelled loudly, his whole body condensed to force. This force rushed towards Xia En again. And when Xia En faced the power of Frieza, she was not polite at all. I saw Xia En forming fists with both hands and smashing them directly towards Frieza's face. And Frieza didn't expect that Xia En would be able to launch a counterattack against him at this time. But Frieza didn't take Xia En's estimate seriously. At this moment, Frieza bent to avoid Xia En. After estimating, turned sideways directly. His right hand, which he hadn't used all this time, slammed towards Xia En and asked. What Xia En was waiting for was this moment, and kicked directly. In an instant, the toe of this kick directly hit Frieza's right hand. And there was a crisp sound from Frieza's right hand. Immediately, Xia En's whole body was flashing with lightning, and a powerful lightning force penetrated Xia En's whole body. In an instant, Xia En's hands became knives. Endless power of thunder and lightning also emerged from his knives-like hands. The power of these thunder and lightning gradually condensed together. Let Xia En's hand really become a sharp knife. Xia En waved the knife in his hand and slashed directly at Frieza's arm. In an instant, Frieza's right hand fell directly into Xia En's hand. After losing his right hand, Lisa felt an unconcealable pain all over his body. For Frieza, he didn't expect that he would fall into Xia En's tricks in the end. He actually let Xia En get his right hand. But Frieza needs to know that at this time, it is impossible for Shane to completely destroy his right hand. Because the right hand is bound with the planetary destruction bomb. In this case, under 3.9, if the right hand is destroyed, the planetary bomb will also explode. At that time, not only himself, but also Xia En and the entire pirate world will be destroyed under the attack of the planet destroyer. So at this time, Frieza also slightly showed a happy smile. Because for Frieza, whether he is alive or dead, he just needs to kill Xia En, because Xia En is the devil in his heart. Chapter 132 Turning into a Streamer. Advertise here. It was at this time that Xia En's gaze revealed a gleam of light. Because Xia En found out that after he got the right hand, Frieza didn't have any special reaction, but Xia En could obviously feel it. The only planet-destroying bomb in front of him is gradually falling. After a while, the planetary bomb will completely become an ordinary move. It will be convenient for a lot of time to solve it at that time. At this time, Frieza also saw through Xia En's scheme, and directly dodged to escape from here. In fact, Frieza still has one nirvana that he hasn't shown yet. That is Frieza, although it is said that he controls the planetary destroyer with his right hand. But whether the planetary bomb detonates or not is no longer under the control of the right hand. What is needed is for his whole brain to communicate with the planetary destroyer. Only in this way can the planetary destruction bomb be detonated. At that time, once the planetary destruction bomb explodes, Xia En is still doomed. But in the face of this situation, he has already lost an arm. Frieza also knew that if he detonated the planet-destroying bomb at this time, he himself would have no way to survive. But he needs to stay away from the planet destroyer and Xia En now. At that time, detonate the planetary destruction bomb. He won't be in the slightest harm, and at that time he is getting back from Xia En's hand and Vice Admiral's own right hand. That's all. So at this time, Frieza was even less polite. Flying towards the distance quickly, not only has been increasing his speed, but also is constantly healing his injuries. After Xia En saw Frieza burst out at such a terrifying speed again, he also frowned slightly. Because for Xia En, according to Frieza's terrifying speed, it would be impossible for him to catch up with Frieza. Because Frieza's terrifying speed can be said to have surpassed Xia En. And Xia En hasn't fully comprehended this speed in her heart yet. So at this time, he also frowned slightly. After all, for Xia En, at this speed, he cannot catch up with Frieza. But Frieza couldn't completely escape from here. Because Xia En has already guessed Frieza, I am afraid there are other ways to control the planetary destruction bomb in front of him. Otherwise, Frieza wouldn't have gotten the right hand he used to control the planetary bomb when he got it. There is not even the slightest wave, which shows that Frieza must have left behind. In the face of this situation, Xia En also frowned slightly. Then just when Frieza was about to disappear 860 in his field of vision, suddenly Xia En spat out a mouthful of blood. After spitting out this mouthful of blood, Xia En only felt her eyes go dark. In an instant, his face turned livid. After all, for Xia En, Frieza's attack just now was indeed very powerful. Then add the planetary bomb attack on him. It has been causing his defense to continue to weaken. Of course, although Xia En said that she also suffered a little injury on her body. But the mouthful of blood he is spitting out now is also to confuse Frieza. He just wanted to see if Frieza's reason prevailed. Or his own greed for small things and cheap things has the upper hand. Chapter 133. Advertise here. Seeing that Xia En has already spit out blood from his mouth, he also feels that this Xia En is nothing more than that. Although one of his arms fell off, he must let him destroy him. The matter about Xia En made him feel that either you die or I live, so Frieza looked at the joyful smile and said, "It's okay Xia En, since you ruined my hand, I will let you be buried with mine." Xia En laughed secretly after hearing Frieza's words. This Frieza really fell into his own trap. Frieza was still so careless. His weakness is that he is too arrogant, because of his arrogance. Only then did he lose his arm, since he is so ignorant. Then I must give Frieza a good fruit. Frieza scolded Xia En and said, "What's so great about you? Don't you just have some kind of thunder power? What's even more terrifying? Why did your hand suddenly become a knife? This knife is too scary. Cut off my hand, you have to explain to me." Quote. Xia En felt ridiculous about Frieza's words, so Xia En looked at Frieza. Frieza saw a terrifying light in Xia En's eyes. So Frieza subconsciously avoided Xia En's eyes. Because Xia En's eyes are really capable of giving Frieza a fatal blow. Frieza felt that he still had some strength, and he couldn't easily fight against him. So Xia En said to Frieza with a slight smile, "Your time is coming to an end. Frieza, are you still so arrogant? You don't know that although you have a planetary bomb, one of your hands is gone. How else are you going to use this planetary bomb?" Frieza thought for a moment. I think what Xia En said is very reasonable, but Frieza absolutely does not allow Xia En to mock himself like this. Because Frieza hates Xia En the most now. After thinking about it, I think this Xia En is really hateful. Isn't it the world of pirates, since Xia En cares about the common people so much? I must let this pirate world be destroyed together. Lisa has gone crazy. Now Frieza just wants to destroy Xia En, and Frieza is willing to do whatever it takes. So Frieza released his powerful energy with his only hand, and the sky changed. There were balls of flames erupting from Frieza's hands. Seeing that Frieza was serious, Xia En also became serious. Otherwise, it is very likely that he will become Frieza's wrong soul. So Xia En also used her own hand to exert magic power, only to see that Xia En's hand turned into the color of thunder again. Dark blue lightning rolled in Xia En's hand. The light waves shone, and the ground shook and the mountains shook, crumbling. Nearby mountains have shaken, and rivers have begun to overflow, flooding farmland. Their ability is really too strong. The powerful one can shake. Li Lizao, look at the trees next to it, and some mountains have cracked 2 sections. Some creatures ran out quickly, because if they didn't come out again, they were about to die there, so they thought they should run out and talk to Xia En and Frieza. Tell them not to do it again, it will only lead to bigger mistakes. If they stop in time, they'll be fine. They don't look back on what they said. .134 Chapter 134 Precarious. Advertise here. Then this pirate world may be in danger, or even destroyed. This is really what they don't want to see. If One Piece world is destroyed, then he will be destroyed along with the pirate world, which is simply a terrible thing. So they all went to Xia En and Frieza and said, "The world of pirates is already in jeopardy, we don't know what you are fighting for. We just want a home, is it so difficult? You guys do it for your own good. Then the whole pirate world was destroyed, don't you know that you are very selfish? We are the result of living together in this pirate world, you have ruined this world. Then what do we do? 253 Aren't we also destroyed along with it? Do you only care about your own selfish desires, regardless of other people's feelings? You don't think it's really worth it?" Xia En also felt very sad when she heard what they said. Because Xia En didn't want to destroy this pirate world at all. It's just that Frieza has been chasing after him and wants to kill him, so what should we do? Frieza did these bad things and wanted to stop him, but Frieza was too powerful. If I don't use the truth, I may be destroyed by Frieza. In that case, then Frieza will definitely let himself have a good fruit to eat. And the power to move the real thing is so great, the whole pirate world is buried with him. It's really not worth it. So Xia En also wanted to turn this matter into a small matter. I want everyone to live happily in this world, so Xia En said to Frieza. Frieza, I know how much you hate me, but let's not do it for our own benefit. Then destroy everyone's pirate world, it's really not worth it. Frieza smiled when he heard Xia En Chan's words, and said with cunning in his eyes. My arm has been cut off by you, but you come to persuade me to be a good person, this is really a big joke. Why should I take their feelings, Agai, into account? Have you taken into account my feelings? What about my arm? Can you take my arm back? Xia En shouldn't be too double standard in life. If you are like this, it is really annoying, why do I hate you? Just because you are too double standard, who are you going to show a false benevolence to? You are just lying to those stupid creatures. Those creatures heard that they had such great hatred. I also want to solve them for a while, because if the conflict between them is not resolved, then they will be devastated in the pirate world, and this kind of thing must not happen. They think of every day they have spent in pirate world, and every 10 days are very happy and happy. It was very frightening for them to see that Xia En had Lanlan with the power of lightning in her hands. While the sky had turned black, they pleaded with Xia En and knelt down. Xia En, I beg you, I know you must be a kind person. You must have a good relationship with Frieza, our lives are all in your hands. If you use this move of yours, it will not only bring Frieza's destruction. We will also be destroyed along with it, which is really unimaginable. Quote. Xia En heard what they said. Chapter 135 Unbelievable. Advertise here. He also felt that this matter must be discussed carefully. If you don't discuss it well, the consequences will be disastrous. And Frieza's planet-destroying bomb is just around the corner. Seeing these mana and energy, these creatures also felt very terrified. Because they have never seen such high-strength energy, they just heard about it from their grandparents. They have never seen this kind of powerful energy, and this is the first time they have seen it in their lives. It is really terrifying for them to see this kind of energy running in the air. If only they were listening to their parents, grandma and grandpa. They will feel very curious, and want to see what kind of energy this energy is. But once they really see this energy, they will realize the harm of this energy. And they also feel that this energy is very terrifying, but what they really feel is fear. I feel that once this energy collides and explodes, their world will be destroyed. This is simply a big thing, and they think it is undoubtedly more serious than the sky falling. Then the world will not exist in the future, and neither will they. Their descendants will not exist in pirate world. They want to get their relationship right. So these creatures said to Frieza. Frieza, we don't know why you hold Xia En so much. Xia En is obviously a very good person, tell us why you hate Xia En so much. For the sake of hatred, and then launching a planet-destroying bomb, this is really a very terrifying thing. I think you should have a good talk and reach the conditions agreed by both parties. In this way, we will have a way to survive, and you will be well appreciated, and you will leave your name in history. Because you considered everyone's interests and gave up your own ideas. This is really a great thing. Please put away your Star Wars. And Xia En, please put away all your strength, we still have something to talk about. Turn big things into small things, this is the principle we should abide by. Quote. Xia En heard what they said, and felt that what they said was very reasonable. 0. Seeking flowers. Besides, this world is what he likes very much, and he feels happiness from this world. You can feel the ups and downs here, if the pirate world is destroyed. Then Xia En will also be very sad, this world brings many joyful memories to Xia En. So Xia En was reluctant to be destroyed in this pirate world, so Xia En looked at Frieza. Point 0. Because Frieza is no match for Xia En at all now. If Frieza made another move, then Xia En would only destroy Frieza with one blow. So Xia En said to Frieza. Frieza, let's deal with this matter properly, we shouldn't fight each other anymore. What's the point of us coming here to fight? I also know what your strength is. You also fully understand what my strength is, so can't we get along well together? Frieza smiled slightly when he heard what Xia En said, and said with viciousness in his eyes. It's all your lies about getting along well. Chapter 136 Let Go of Hatred. Advertise here. I also wanted to get along well with you before. But what did you do to me? Didn't you also strengthen your own energy? Then why don't you strengthen my energy too? Xia En said unwillingly when she heard Frieza say this. I really haven't thought about anything, I beg you to think about everyone is really good. After hearing what he said, Frieza also felt that Xia En's 993 made sense. In fact, Frieza is not a very vicious person, and he also thinks that this matter should be discussed carefully. After all, Frieza also had a lot of fun in One Piece world. He didn't want the world to be destroyed either, but Frieza was still unconvinced. Why did he think he lost to Xia En? And Xia En cut off his arm. This is really a very angry thing, I have done those things well. Then Xia En chopped off his arm, how could this make Frieza let go of his hatred? Frieza felt that Xia En had to give his arm back to him. So Frieza said to Xia En, since you say that, then I am not a person who does not listen to persuasion. I know that our war will definitely start again, but I don't want to destroy the world of pirates. I know what our strength is like, and I know that you must be stronger than me now. But I won't let you take advantage of it. So Frieza said to Xia En. Okay, you just need to have a truce with me, then I'll tell you. I have a few conditions that you must agree to, and I will tell you, if you do not agree to me. Then I don't care about the consequences. Quote. Xia En also felt that things could turn around after hearing what he said. So Xia En said to Frieza. Just tell me what you want, if you have reasonable demands. Then we will consider it, if you have some malicious requests. He can do whatever he wants, so he said to Junin. He felt that it was meaningless for Xia En to threaten him like this, after all, he now had the dominant power. Then winked at Xia En provocatively. He said again. Since you have the common people in your heart, then you should make due contributions to the common people in the world. Then Xia En's situation in the future will be very dangerous, after all, Frieza now has a planet-destroying bomb. Luckily he wasn't that careful. And he wasn't that careful yet, if Frieza could. This makes me feel very interesting, are you still not 2.5 powerful enough? Xia En, I think you are very powerful, but why did you vomit blood when you were fighting with me? You shouldn't be talking to me like that right now. Moreover, Frieza's usual strength should not be underestimated. So who can shoulder such a responsibility? So Frieza smiled at Xia En again. If you don't go to hell, who will go to hell? Otherwise, you wouldn't bear such a responsibility. Frieza also smiled slightly at Xia En's words. You should carefully consider the consequences of this matter before telling me. Frieza smiled and said to Xia En. When Xia En heard Frieza say this, she also felt elated. This Frieza is really arrogant. Then we will let you know what is there is someone beyond the human, and there is a sky beyond the sky. Chapter 137. Advertise here. If he is careful, then it will be even more difficult for Xia En to deal with Frieza in the future, so Xia En said to Frieza. Your strength is also very strong, you tried your best to beat me and vomit blood. I also admire you very much. Frieza also said with a slight smile when he heard Xia En say this. Well, for the sake of the peace of the pirate world, let's get over this matter. Turn a page, we will be fine in the future, but you must agree to my request. Quote. Xia En listened to Frieza's request, and also looked at the creatures of the pirate world below. They all said to Xia En in 06. Xia En, just promise him, we will help you with anything. We are all very grateful to you, you must not destroy this pirate world. If it is destroyed like this, then we don't know what to do. Quote. Xia En also felt very distressed when she heard their request. Unexpectedly, their fate is in their own hands. Then Xia En will not let them lose their lives in vain, Xia En will let them live a happy life. If I can't make the creatures of pirate world live a happy life, then it is my own incompetence, not to mention the current crisis, the pirate world is in jeopardy. It is impossible for me to see the world destroyed, that will be a huge challenge for Xia En. Xia En felt that this matter must be discussed with Frieza properly. If Frieza doesn't agree, then he must find a way to calm Frieza down. Look at what conditions Frieza proposed, unless Frieza mentioned the conditions to destroy pirate world. Now as long as he is still alive, he may have a chance to deal with Xia En, so Frieza said to Xia En. Xia En first extinguished all the energies in her hands, and didn't want these energies to explode again. Frieza was afraid that Xia En would destroy him, and then he would never have the chance to take revenge on Xia En in the future. The other Xia En will try their best to agree to Frieza. If you want me to stop exerting force, it is also possible to emit energy. 480. His ambition is really big enough, he actually thought that the energy of pirate world is not enough, so he must be stopped. Xia En thinks that this Frieza is really not simple, what exactly does he want to do in his heart? Now it is in jeopardy, and Xia En has already withdrawn her energy and is relieved. Besides, these creatures are asking themselves like this, and then can they make them sad? But you have to promise me, I have to absorb the energy of this pirate world for a while. Quote. Xia En was also very puzzled when she heard Frieza's rude request. Then it will be very difficult for Xia En to recover the energy of One Piece world in the future. This matter must not be seen by Frieza, if Frieza is allowed to see it. Xia En thinks that for the peace and happiness of this pirate world, it is okay to sacrifice herself. If it erupts again, it will definitely shake the world again. I didn't expect this Frieza's to do it, so why does he want to do these things? Then Xia En is tantamount to becoming a sinner in this pirate world. No, Xia En definitely doesn't want to make these creatures sad, if these creatures are sad. Chapter 138. Advertise here. Your request is too much, if there are other requests. Then I will agree to you, but I really can't satisfy you with the request you make to me now. Your request is indeed too obvious. Your ambition has been fully reflected in this request, I know what you want to do. But you have to know that what you are doing now should not only consider yourself. The common people in the world of pirates should be considered. Quote. After hearing these words, Frieza shook his head and did not answer Xia En. Seeing that Frieza didn't answer him, Xia En felt that Frieza was too much. I feel that this Frieza is really greedy, and I don't know what Frieza is thinking. But Xia En will not let Frieza absorb the energy of One Piece world. If Frieza were to absorb energy, the world would be in chaos. What's more, Frieza will absorb the energy of the world, so Frieza's energy will become more and more powerful. There is no ability to compete with Frieza, if pirate world does not have energy support. Then the pirate world will become a mess, and no one can protect the common people of the pirate world. But Xia En didn't want Frieza to start a war with him immediately, if he did. Then the world of pirates is in jeopardy, and the building will soon collapse. But this matter must be carefully considered, so Xia En is also a headache. I didn't expect Frieza to be such an insatiable person. What Frieza did really made the world despise him. Frieza had nothing against Xia En's idea at all. Because Frieza knows that as long as he becomes stronger, then everything else doesn't matter. Whether this pirate world is good or not is other people's business, and you have to become stronger yourself. This move will absorb all the energy released by Frieza, Zhao Nujiao, and destroy its energy. I think then we can have a decisive battle. After all, we have a decisive battle. And it doesn't produce a trace of aftermath, but this energy is responsible for consuming Xia En's ability. Since you don't want to promise me, then I'll go do other things. Only in this way can Xia En be completely wiped out after fighting against Xia En. So Frieza wanted to use his energy to attack Xia En, and Xia En dodged everywhere. Seeing that Frieza didn't say a word, Xia En also said to Frieza angrily. This is what Frieza really thinks. This pirate world is gone too, is energy still needed? Quote. Try not to let Frieza attack him. Zhang En knows that Shili and Frieza's abilities will not collide at all. Your request is simply not too much. Frieza pouted when she heard Xia En say this. If you absorb his energy, it will consume your spiritual power even more. So Xia En wanted to use some of her soft power to overcome the hard with softness, and let Frieza's energy disappear into it. Xia En used her own move, the Thunder Contains. But Xia En didn't want Frieza to gain any advantage either. Xia En knows that such a thing is very thankless. Because this energy must not only attack Frieza, but also when Frieza is not paying attention. The creatures of this world may no longer exist. Chapter 139 One Kill. Advertise here. Frieza seemed to see Xia En's difficulty. He just wanted to take the opportunity to attack Xia En. But Frieza felt that such an attack on Xia En might not be able to kill Xia En with a fatal blow. But it can absorb all the energy of Pirate World, so that it will become even more powerful. The energy will also go up to a higher level, so Frieza entangled with Xia En on the side. On the other hand, he used his own ability to absorb the energy of Pirate World. Xia En only focused on fighting with Frieza, afraid that Frieza would attack him if he had any chance. But Xia En forgot, Frieza is a very cunning person. He was taking the opportunity to absorb the energy of Pirate World, which Xia En didn't expect either. Xia En is also very distressed just dealing with Frieza. Because he didn't know that Frieza had stolen 920 to absorb the energy of One Piece World. If Xia En knew about Frieza and absorbing the energy of One Piece World, his lungs would explode. Xia En is now only concentrating on fighting Frieza and trying to protect One Piece World. This puts Xia En in a dilemma, as there are wolves in the front and tigers in the back. And the beings also saw Xia En and Frieza fighting. See Xia En's dealings with Frieza in order to protect herself. I also think that Xia En is a very good person, and these creatures also feel that they should thank Xia En. So they all cheered Xia En up, AGFC, and said, Xia En, come on, we all support you, I know you are a kind person. But you must not show mercy to Frieza just because of your kindness. He's an evil man, and he's definitely absorbing the energy of One Piece. This sentence gave Xia En a reminder. Said, what, Frieza, are you absorbing energy now? Why are you absorbing the energy of Pirate World? Don't you know it's a very bad thing? Quote. Frieza also said after hearing what Xia En said. Whatever is bad, as long as it is good for me, it is good. I didn't expect you to end up like this, alas, it's really sad. Quote. What Frieza said was not unreasonable, but Frieza just wanted to make Xia En's heart flustered. But you should also think about what they will get when you do these things. Then he will become stronger and stronger. How can Xia En be Frieza's opponent? His wishful flash drive just started ringing. Frieza now hates Xia En and wants to kill Xia En with one blow. Absorb the energy of pirate world by yourself. Xia En has huge energy, and Frieza compromised with Xia En precisely because he was afraid of his huge energy. In terms of scheming, Xia En is no match for Frieza. Xia En didn't know what to say when she heard Frieza say that. But in terms of energy, Frieza is no match for Xia En. Otherwise Frieza wouldn't have compromised. Xia En's huge energy made Frieza feel very scared. Frieza now just wants to absorb more energy from this world. No matter what other people do to you, you are now just them using the machine. You guys still think you're pretty good. Oops, Xia En, I'm here to feel sorry for you. Will these people thank you? I don't think so, they only care about themselves. You should concentrate on improving your abilities, and don't think about anything else. Chapter 140 Exhausted. Advertise here. But Frieza doesn't have enough energy to defeat Xia En now, which makes Frieza very distressed. Xia En knows what Frieza is up to, but Xia En doesn't want Frieza to destroy this pirate world. So Xia En's Frieza said. Stop it quickly, if you don't stop. Then I will use all my strength to destroy you. Frieza laughed when he heard what Xia En said, and said. Xia En, do you think I'm still the same person I was before? Besides, you're dealing with me like this now. Your energy has been exhausted, isn't it easy for me to deal with you now? Frieza said this to Xia En. Xia En thinks Frieza is a very scary person now. Frieza actually beat himself up like this, and then took the opportunity to absorb all the energy of pirate world. This really made Xia En feel very painful, so Xia En told Frieza. Since you have absorbed the energy of pirate world in this way, you should be satisfied. Stop your stupid behavior now. Frieza didn't care about Xia En's statement, he said to Xia En. I'm acting stupid now, but my abilities aren't too strong yet. I want to make my energy stronger and be able to rule the whole pirate world. Then I will be happy. These creatures said to Frieza. Frieza, I beg you, don't do this again, you must unite. Our pirate world is protected by you, you are the pride of our pirate world. Quote. Frieza felt very honored when he heard these creatures say this. Because these people regarded him as a pride, but Frieza felt complacent and elated. The spiritual power in his body was also slowly flowing, which made Frieza feel very comfortable. And let Frieza know that spiritual power is the best in this world. His energy is getting stronger and stronger, so Frieza nodded and smiled. 0. Ask for flowers. 0. Let you taste the sweetness. I, Frieza, am not the kind of person who makes trouble out of no reason. Frieza also found it very interesting after hearing what they said, and said. And laughing bigger and bigger right. They said. Okay, you still have some eyesight, since you say so, then I will stop. You are the strongest now, Frieza, please let us go in time. My energy is very strong now, what is Xia En, he is fighting with me now. Seeing how Frieza belittled Xia En, those people dared to be angry and dare not speak out. He is just a defeated opponent in front of me now, you should listen to me carefully. After all, I already have very strong energy now, and Xia En is not my opponent anymore. Seeing Frieza's complacency, Xia En also felt a sense of embarrassment in her heart. We will definitely listen to you. Quote. Because now Frieza has indeed absorbed the energy of One Piece world. I will definitely let him kill him with one blow, Xia En is now just my defeated opponent. For the sake of your pleading, let me let you go. If you are going to be disobedient, then I will let you know what good fruit is. Quote. Xia En may not be Frieza's opponent now, so they are very perfunctory with Frieza's words. Chapter 141 Not Scary. Advertise here. Although he has absorbed the energy of the entire pirate world, Xia En still feels that he is not scary. Because Xia En knows how much energy she has, and Xia En's energy is endless. So what Frieza is doing now is just a clown in front of him. Frieza wondered. Said. Xia En, do you think I'm good now? So Frieza made a wave of light. The 433 burst of light made the entire sky black, and then it rained and thunder rolled. Seeing Frieza like this, Xia En also felt that Frieza was very stingy. Because in front of Xia En felt that these energies of Frieza were not worth mentioning. But now Xia En is very weak and has no energy to fight against Frieza. If I confront Frieza now, I may not be able to gain the upper hand, so Xia En said to Frieza. Frieza, what you do is really very well planned and cunning. I know you are a very powerful person now, although my energy is almost exhausted now. But even when I am full of energy, I may not be your opponent now. Quote. Frieza was even happier when he heard Xia En say this, so Frieza told Xia En. Xia En, do you know? I'm going to destroy you soon, but I'm not in the mood right now. You wait for a while, I will let you know what life is worse than death. After hearing what Frieza said, Xia En also felt that he was scheming, bad and stupid. He is scheming because he knows everything about himself, but Frieza doesn't pay attention to details. This detail is the fatal thing, if Frieza doesn't pay attention to the details. Then Frieza is doomed to fail. One of the reasons for Xia En's success is because of his special attention to detail. This detail allowed Xia En to gain countless energy. This energy also flows slowly in Xia En's body. My current energy can create many pirate worlds. It seems that Frieza is still too simple. Isn't it 0.9? If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have achieved such a great achievement now. So Xia En secretly used her spiritual power to restore herself to some. I feel that now Frieza is giving me a very headache. Xia En wanted to hide her strength, and didn't want them to know how powerful she was. So Xia En started talking to Frieza again. Frieza was also very happy with Xia En's words and said, "Will the people I meet in the future make me feel helpless? I don't know when I will meet a more powerful enemy." Xia En is thinking about it now. You should thank me for having such great power. Xia En also found it ridiculous when she heard Frieza's words. You should also be satisfied. Frieza, you now have the power of Pirate World. Frieza, you are really amazing now, we all admire you very much. But Xia En tried her best to suppress these energies, not letting Frieza know that she had such powerful energies. Xia En thought to Frieza, you are so funny, you just absorbed the energy of Pirate World now. Thanks also to Frieza, why are you thanking Frieza? It would be nice not to be angry with Frieza. But Xia En knows that there is someone beyond the human world and there is a sky beyond the sky. So Xia En said the same to him. Chapter 142 Head-to-Head Confrontation. Advertise here. I guess you have become very strong now, and I dare not confront you head-on. Frieza laughed and said, isn't it? Xia En laughed at Frieza in her heart. This Frieza got a little bit of energy and is so defiant, it's really tricky. It's ridiculous. But Xia En is using too much energy now. Now there is simply no ability to support Frieza anymore. Although there is still a lot of energy in Xia En's body. But Xia En knew that he had to hold him well now. Frieza glanced at Xia En and said, Xia En, you also have today, I thought you were invincible. I didn't expect you to be like this today, you know my difficulties back then. Xia En also said to Frieza after hearing what Frieza said. Frieza, I know you are a generous person, please let me go. I really have nothing to contend with you now, said Frieza. That's impossible, why should I let you go? I have to take care of you. Frieza used all the energy of his ability to attack Xia En. Seeing this energy, Xia En also used the strength in her body. But Xia En is too weak now, so Xia En can only use 1% of this energy. But these energies are also energies that can block Frieza. Frieza found it inconceivable that Xia En could still compete against him. Unexpectedly, Xia En had wasted all this energy and was able to fight herself for a while. Frieza thinks that Xia En is really powerful, but Frieza doesn't want Xia En to continue to be unrestrained. So Frieza used his more powerful energy, and he had already overdrawn his own power. Charged towards Xia En used all her strength to meet Frieza's energy. Then a thunderbolt of color Madara light appeared on Xia En's hand. Then used this lightning light to hit Frieza's flames. The impact of their energies together is very powerful, and the pirate world is in danger at this time. Crumbling, yet again it feels like the end of the world. Seeing this situation like this, Xia En also felt very sad. I didn't expect that I wanted to compromise with Frieza just now. I didn't expect Frieza to do such a disgusting thing again. Then take the opportunity to absorb the energy of One Piece world, Frieza said to Xia En. Xia En, I know you are very strong now, but you are very weak now. I might as well kill you with one blow, this will also relieve the hatred in my heart. 790 you will also be reborn, and you will also be liberated. Quote. Xia En was also very scared when he heard him say that, this Frieza just wanted to destroy himself. So Xia En said to Frieza, what ability do you have, Frieza, just come on, I'll watch. So Frieza used all his energy, and Xia En also released the energy in his body. Frieza was shocked to see that Xia En still had such powerful energy. I didn't expect that Xia En would become so weak after expending such mental energy, and he still had such a large area of energy. Frieza thought it was also very inconceivable that Xia En's thunder light had turned dark blue. Chapter 143 Maintaining the Balance of One Piece World. Advertise here. Then it became bigger and bigger in his hands and turned into a thunderball, and this thunderball got bigger and bigger. After a while, he rushed towards Frieza, and Frieza also exerted all his energy to resist Xia En's lightning ball. They used their own energy to turn around, but Xia En doesn't want this pirate world to be destroyed. Xia En also has to spend part of her energy to maintain the balance of pirate world. Because Xia En knows that if this world is lost, then the destination of one's own soul will also die with it. Xia En knew the consequences of this. So Xia En threw a lightning ball at Frieza, causing Frieza to be severely injured. And Xia En himself was seriously injured, and Frieza's energy should not be underestimated. Frieza said to Xia En, I didn't expect you to be so miserable. I let you go today, but next time you won't be so lucky. Seeing what Frieza said, Xia En was shocked by Frieza's power. Unexpectedly, Frieza's power absorbed the energy of Pirate World and became more and more powerful. But Xia En can't panic, Frieza will know that he still has weaknesses if he lies. Once Frieza pinches his weak point, then he might catch Frieza by surprise and be thrown into trouble. Such a thing must not happen, he thought about it if Frieza was to be beaten like this. Then what energy do I have to continue protecting Pirate World? Frieza will definitely run amok here in the future. He will use his energy to bully others everywhere, which Xia En can't bear. So Xia En has to keep calm in order to protect himself and the world of One Piece here. Seeing Xia En's calmness like water, Frieza felt that Xia En still had a lot of energy. Now that he can't produce energy, he confronted Xia En, so Frieza glared at Xia En fiercely. Knowing that he couldn't eliminate Xia En smiled at him and said, "You, Frieza, are nothing more than that." Frieza doesn't have much energy now either. Seeing Xia En laughing at himself like this, he didn't know what to do. He was afraid that Xia En would not keep a hand. Just let go of the harsh words and left. Xia En also knows that Frieza also has very strong energy now. I had already used my free will just now, but I was still seriously injured by Frieza. Xia En felt that it was really too scary, her own arrogance hadn't escaped him yet. It seems that he is too weak now, otherwise Frieza would not be his opponent. So Xia En said to Frieza again. "Come on, let's continue to fight for 800 gold. Frieza panicked seeing Xia En say this. So Frieza ran away quickly, not letting Xia En have time to catch up with him. Seeing that Frieza had run away, Xia En sighed, so Xia En sat down. A mouthful of blood spat out from his mouth. Zhao Nuo's Frieza had already left. These people all came to see Xia En and asked how Xia En was doing now, and Xia En told them donkey. My physical condition is really bad now, I have suffered a lot of serious injuries. They said to Xia En. Xia En, don't worry, you will definitely recover, this Frieza is simply too shameless. He actually absorbs the energy of the ocean pirate world when you are fighting with him. Chapter 144 Worried about One Piece World. Advertise here. How can it do that? Xia En said to them. You don't know that he is even more irritating in the future, he is now a treacherous villain. But he is not that smart, although he said he has scheming. But its energy is not that great, let me tell you, sooner or later I will destroy it. In this way, you will not worry about the safety of Pirate World. Then no one will be able to destroy One Piece World anymore, and that is the result we want. These people also felt very happy when they heard what Xia En said. Xia En should clean up Frieza, otherwise Frieza is too arrogant. So they all comforted Xia En and said, Xia En, I know you, 030, have suffered a lot of injuries. You might as well go to my house, said one. Let's go too, let's take care of Xia En and make his injury better. We also have some people who purify energy, so those living beings will find out those who have purify energy. They will also find out those who can be treated, a total of 50 or 60 people. Let them work together to help Xia En regain her spiritual power and energy. They also use all their strength to protect Xia En, because they know that Xia En is their savior. If Xia En falls, then they don't know who can really help them. So they used all their energy to accompany Xia En. Xia En also feels very warm when she sees these people accompanying her. After all, they also have to do their own things. Xia En said to them. If you have anything to do, tell me, if you have something to do at home, just do it. It's not important to me. These elves found it very interesting to see Xia En talking like this. We don't know what to do anymore. Xia En also felt a warm current flow in his heart when he heard them all say this. Xia En, you are our most important person now, if Frieza comes to attack us. You can do whatever you want, I will listen to you. He knew that they were dependent on him, if anything happened to him. So they said to Xia En. He didn't want his friend to suffer any harm, because Xia En knew that he would rather suffer more. Then they will be very sad, but if they can't protect them. Yes, I know you are very weak right now. Will he let them down, now that he is seriously injured? Frieza is likely to sneak up on them at any time. So these creatures want to say to Xia En. We know that you are the most important, if you don't have it, then our world of CAGDH thieves would be gone. Quote. Then we won't get any benefit from it. We know what is important and what is not. Quote. In this case, their situation is very dangerous. Xia En is a very kind person. But if Frieza comes to trouble us again at this time, it will be a big deal. Xia En, who will not let the people of One Piece World suffer some harm, is indeed very thoughtful. Xia En nodded reassuringly when she heard what they said, and said. We will take good care of you, and we can't handle such a small matter for you. Chapter 145 Worried. Advertise here. Frieza is so vile, but Xia En knows that Frieza does these things. Maybe he has his own reasons, but he shouldn't do this no matter what reason he has. Will this make other people see the joke? The more Xia En thought about it, the more angry she became. Unexpectedly, Frieza has reached this point. Those creatures saw Xia En slowly getting better. They are also very happy. If Xia En gets better, then they don't have to worry. They are worried every day now, and this feeling seems to be the feeling of being dependent on others. Because they don't know when Frieza will come, once Frieza will come. Then what happens will have to be faced, as long as Xia En's injury is better. Then they are not afraid, they have also witnessed the power of Xia En, it is very powerful. If Frieza came to attack them again, then Xia En would definitely help her. Xia En knew that they were also very worried and comforted them, saying. We should not be afraid of them, we should fight them together. Don't worry about this matter, I will definitely help you. Quote. After Xia En said this, she also reassured them. They kept the news of Xia En's injury secret and did not let it out. Once it got out, then what awaits them may be a terrible result. In order to minimize the danger, they also concealed Xia En's injury. But some creatures are still quick talking, and they accidentally say it, which is troublesome. There are many people who already know that Xia En is injured, and Jen En's injury will not do them much good at all. Some of them will come to harass Xia En, and they want to clean up Xia En when he is injured. Xia En was also distressed by this kind of harassment. He thought it was okay for other people to come and harass him. As long as Frieza's is enough, because Frieza's energy is too powerful in the world of pirates. His mana is indeed not as strong as mine, but his body is very good now. Xia En will not let Frieza defeat him so easily. I'm hurting a lot now, and I gave all my strength back then. And you are also very powerful now. Does Frieza have some magic power? You must not spread it. If you want to spread it, wait until I recover from my injury. He didn't get hurt at all during the fight with me, which shows that he recovered very quickly. Xia En only thinks that Frieza is his opponent, if Frieza knows that he has been injured. Even if Xia En suffers such a big injury, Xia En will take care of it. 0. Seeking flowers. Is his magic power stronger than yours? Xia En said, shaking her head. Submissive, they admire Xia En very much and don't want Xia En to be harassed by others again. Then Frieza will definitely come over and give himself a fatal blow. I will definitely give you good fruit to eat. Those who harass Xia En know how powerful Xia En is. It was not good for Frieza to hear about it at the time, Xia En told them. But now Xia En is afraid that they will spread the matter. Xia En, don't worry, we won't tell this matter. So they told Xia En. 0.00 Chapter 146 Recovery is very slow. Advertise here. And my ability has recovered very slowly. Besides, does Frieza have other people's help now? I don't know about this, we'd better just in case. Be careful sailing the 10,000 years boat. Quote. When they heard Xia En say this, they also agreed with Xia En's words. Because what Xia En did made them feel very admirable. And even though Xia En is injured now, she treats them as 573 very well. They feel that being with Xia En is like returning home, and Xia En is their relative. Although they had some provocations with Xia En before. But Xia En also used his ability to influence them. Xia En is not a person who holds grudges. Seeing that they are so friendly to me, I forgot all the previous hatred. Xia En just wants to do her own thing well now. They don't want to make other people worry about their own affairs anymore. They feel that they just need to do their duties well. As for Frieza, they also have to beware. Once Frieza gets the news, he also needs to be ready to fight with Frieza. Xia En knew that Frieza couldn't bring many people with him, and the people in this ocean pirate world also had some mana. He will not let Frieza do anything reckless, they will definitely let Frieza get a good fruit to eat. So they discussed how to deal with Frieza. Xia En said to them. I have recovered most of my mana now, but it is still very difficult to deal with Frieza. Because if Frieza comes over with a planet-destroying bomb, then we will be very troublesome. So we have to assign a strategy. Xia En silently thought of a plan in her heart to deal with Frieza. I don't know if this Frieza has any abilities. You do these things first, as long as you do these things well. He destroyed Frieza, who was so ugly that he met Xia En. He will not cause any harm to you again, if he wants to kill. But Frieza is still obsessed with it, thinking that Shane is the enemy blocking his progress in 5.4. Frieza is a very scheming person, although Frieza is still a little stupid. He is so evil, we are all very afraid of his thoughts. Quote. He also didn't want to think about the consequences, they said to Xia En. Xia En, I know you are a very kind person. But Xia En knew that Frieza's ability should not be underestimated. They know that Xia En has a heart of great love, if counting En as if not having a heart of great love. But you must not have mercy on Frieza. If you can get rid of him, get rid of him. If Xia En had been a more ruthless person, Frieza would have already dealt with it. But his stupidity is stupid, so Xia En said to everyone who assigned tasks. Then Frieza will definitely get the lesson he deserves, and you can resist for a while. What if Xia En completely destroyed Frieza? Will he still be presumptuous? Xia En has to protect herself at this point. Xia En was injured because of protecting us. Then let me deal with him. These people were also very moved when they heard Xia En say this. Frieza won't do us any harm either. Besides, don't be afraid, there's me too. Chapter 147 The Essential Needs of Nature. Advertise here. Xia En nodded when she heard what they said. I'll do my best, I know he's your number one threat right now. Why is he not to me? I know what you are afraid of now. In fact, I am very afraid of him now. With his current mana, I can't guarantee that I will be able to defeat him. But he still has some weaknesses, although he has absorbed the power of Pirate World. But I have a way to make him fail, the power of this Pirate World has been absorbed. Are you all very nervous? The creatures of One Piece World nodded 06 when they heard Xia En say this. It absorbs the power of our world. Then how do we maintain the necessary needs of nature in the future? This is a very distressing thing for us. Xia En also nodded when she heard their troubles. Actually, I have a solution for this matter, so please keep quiet. As long as I fully restore my power, I will give him back the power of this pirate world. Although Frieza has absorbed these powers, he will never absorb the power of One Piece world again. Because he already has the power of this world in his body, if he inhales it again, he will have a reaction of restraint. His body will think that it has absorbed the same power, so its body will reject this ability. They heard Xia En say this, and they were very grateful to Xia En, so they said to Xia En. Xia En, thank you so much, if not for you. It is estimated that this pirate world will completely destroy Frieza. We saw you fighting before, and seeing you knock his hand off at once, it was really exhausting. Quote. No matter how powerful he is, he won't dare to be arrogant when you are here. Because Frieza's ambition has been proved to Xia En, Frieza must defeat Xia En. Will Frieza come out again, as long as Frieza comes out? That's why he's hateful. They heard what Xia En said and hated Frieza more and more. In fact, the only thing he wants to destroy is me, but he doesn't care whether the pirate world survives or not. It's just that he relies on the planet-destroying bomb 950, which is definitely not good for us. Seeing that he ran away when he met you last time, and wanted to destroy you, it's just a dream. Although the world is peaceful now, it has been a while. What this Frieza did was simply too much, why would he do it? I thought, it would be good if he is not destroyed by us, what is he worth if he has that little energy? If you don't do this, it won't work, that Frieza is really too aggressive. If I hadn't cut off one of his arms, he might have destroyed this pirate world. Then they will have another fierce fight, and it will be bloody again. He knew that this vicious fight was inevitable. Although he said so, he is still quite powerful, and his strength should not be underestimated. Xia En explained. He's just a bad guy with a bit of ambition, but he really can't compare with you. This is also what confuses them, so they said to Xia En. Xia En nodded when he heard what they said, and after thinking for a while, he said slowly, Chapter 148 Very tricky. Advertise here. And destroy Xia En. Xia En knows that this matter is very difficult. As long as it exists, Frieza cannot stop. But Xia En will not let Frieza succeed, if Frieza must do so. Then Xia En will try her best to let him know that she is not easy to mess with. Let him use whatever purpose he has. Anyway, I will use all my abilities and all my strengths to deal with Frieza. Frieza, if you do this again, you will only make yourself go. Frieza waits for someone to die like this. Xia En shared her thoughts with the creatures of Pirate World, and these creatures heard Xia En's thoughts. Also thumbs up to Xia En, they know Frieza's ambition. But Xia En was the only one who didn't know that Frieza wanted to destroy him. They disagreed, they thought Xia En was their savior, and it was impossible for Xia En to be so angry. A bad person like Frieza should let Frieza suffer more. They don't have that much ability to make Frieza suffer, and they want Frieza to get some punishment. They thought about it left and right, but they couldn't think of how to get Frieza punished. Those who came to harass Xia En also knew that Frieza was a very bad person, they said. Xia En, this is you, if it were me, I wouldn't care about these things. I must let Frieza get some color to see him offend you like this. Don't let him know that we people in Pirate World are easy to bully. Xia En was also very moved when she heard what they said. She didn't expect them to help her like this. So Xia En said to them, my friends, I know that you are all very kind to me, and I also treat you as my friends with sincerity. Please don't face Frieza alone again, he is a very hateful person. If you meet Frieza, you must avoid him, he is a very bad person. If you offend him, the consequences will be disastrous. Quote. They also nodded when they heard Xia En's words. Xia En, we all listen to you, and we are also very scared in our hearts. Because they usually heard some words from Frieza, and knew that Frieza was indeed a very bad person. They knew they should avoid his edge, if not Frieza's edge. Then Xia En will definitely be cleaned up by Frieza, he also said to them. I am seriously injured now, if my vitality is still good. Then I will definitely help you clean up Frieza. So they talked about something. At this time, someone said, there are two people outside who want to meet, Xia En, do you want to meet them? When Xia En heard that someone was coming, who was it in her mind? She wanted to see me so kindly. Now that more than half of my mana has recovered, I also want to see my good friends, so I told them. Who are they? Well, ask them why they are here, beg. Waiting for that person to go out, he came back after a while and said. These are 5 elders and Gellinger, and they're here to check on your condition. 5 elders and Gellinger. Xia En frowned suddenly, what are these two people doing here? The relationship between the two of them was not very good before. And I don't know them very well. It's a strange thing, because you can't go to the 3 Treasures Hall. Chapter 149 Long time no see. Advertise here. Besides, they didn't say anything at ordinary times, how could they come to see themselves, would there be any tricks in this? Whether Frieza asked him to come and see her, Xia En was also puzzled. But Xia En is not afraid of anything, after all, her mana has almost recovered. So Xia En said to them, let the two of them come in, and I'll see what they do. So Gellinger and 5 elders went in under the leadership of this person, came to see Xia En, and they said to Xia En. Oh, Long time no see, Xia En, I heard that you were injured recently. You are better now. Xia En looked at the two of them with smiles on their faces and let go of her vigilance, and said. I'm much better now, but why did you come to 453? They also said when they heard Xia En ask herself why she came here. Xia En, I heard that you were injured, and we are also very worried about you. The man smiled after speaking, and Xia En saw that their smiles were very fake. Xia En felt that the expressions of five elders and Guy Green made her feel terrified. He saw hypocrisy on their expressions, and saw many smiles that shouldn't belong to them. Xia En knew that this matter had to be handled properly, and they definitely did not come out of good intentions AGCB. So Xia En said to them. Thank you for coming, did you meet anyone else when you came? People like Frieza. Five elders and Xia En looked at each other. Then they looked at each other, smiled again, and said. How can we see Frieza? Don't we know what kind of person he is? I won't get in touch with him, what's the point of being friends with him? So Xia En was relieved when he heard what he said. It seems that the two of them did not reach an agreement with Frieza. They came here just to see the excitement, they wanted to see if they still had energy. If there is no energy, they will definitely take advantage of it. Taking advantage of others' dangers makes people feel very unethical. But five elders and Gellinger are willing to do this kind of thing, so Xia En said to them with a slight smile. You too, you came all the way to see me, I know you must want to bless me. But I don't have any good places here, and we don't have any good food here. So you just look at me, I'm fine now, if you finish reading it, you should leave quickly. I can't find peace here. They heard Xia En say this. I also felt that Xia En was going to drive me away. But they pretended not to understand the meaning of this sentence, so they said to Xia En. Xia En, I know you are very weak now, weren't you very strong before? Where has all that energy gone now? Xia En heard him say this. He also felt his heart beating frantically, and he knew that the two of them must not be easygoing. But now Xia En's abilities have recovered most of them, and she is no longer afraid of them. Even if he was injured, Xia En could deal with them, and it was Xia En who didn't want to bear it anymore. He felt that this matter was too troublesome, so Xia En said to him. Yo, what you said is really amazing. You have to recognize yourself. Chapter 150. Advertise here. Are you something to be proud of? Let me tell you, you must recognize that there are people beyond people, and there is a sky beyond the sky. If you continue to be so obsessed, then I will teach you a good lesson. Quote. Five elders and Geilinger were also very angry when they heard Xia En say this about themselves. I didn't expect Xia En to be so stubborn now that he was injured. It was really rude, so five elders and Geringer said to Xia En. Xia En, don't you feel a little shameful about what you did? We don't like all these things you do, you are just bullying us with some magic power. If you don't have these powers, can you still bully me? Xia En heard, they said so. I also think what the two of them said is interesting, and it's funny that what they said is simply sad, sensational. So Xia En also thought that she hadn't had much contact with them. And they are usually not very friendly to themselves, so Xia En wants to take care of them. Xia En also wants to give them some color and let them know that she is not someone to mess with. So Xia En said to them. You are just using your own energy now. And even though I said I was injured, it was very easy to hit you. You are nothing more than ants in my eyes, what you do. To me it's just like pediatrics. Geilinger heard Xia En say this about herself. I also felt that what Xia En said was a bit too much, but there was nothing they could do to stop Xia En. Because Xia En's mana is indeed too strong, if he confronts them head on. Then it must be no harm to themselves, so they sat next to each other for a while. Then think about whether Xia En has any weakness. Use Xia En's weakness to defeat him. If Xia En doesn't have any weaknesses, then I should find out where his weaknesses are. Seeing their thoughtful looks, Xia En also found it ridiculous. They must be thinking of some bad trick, trying to pull themselves down a deep hole. So Xia En said to them again. What are you thinking? Tell me quickly. Tell me about any bad plans. 0. Ask for flowers. I want to see what you guys are capable of. Five elders and Frieza heard Xia En say this. They also felt resistance to what Xia En said. They didn't know how powerful Xia En was. But they knew they couldn't easily confront Xia En. They know that Xia En's power is very powerful, especially Xia En's thunder power. His thunderous power is even more unstoppable. They felt that they had to find out Xia En's weak point and kill him with one blow. In this way, you can improve your prestige in the pirate world, not only in the pirate world. In other worlds, they also want to improve their prestige, and the more they think about it, the happier they are. They feel that they will be sought after by outsiders and respected by many people, and they are also happy. But this kind of happy flower is only expressed in the heart, but on the surface it is as if nothing has happened. They still don't know what Xia En's ability is. If Xia En's current ability still completely crushes them. So what they are doing now is wishful thinking.